We got the food and the rhythm of the sun. The culture, just remember where you're from. Just remember watch it. Make Africa home again. Africa, Africa home again, baby. Make Africa home again. Africa, Africa home again, baby. Africa home again. Africa, Africa, Africa home again, baby. Africa home again. Africa, Africa, Africa home again, baby. See, I went natural. I let my naps grow. I got an afro, became a black pro. They tried to say that my black was a natural. Hell no. We all came from a black hole. The motherland, but I fear it needs to come home. The fact is that we all made a black gold. Anybody saying differently does not know. Black soul, black goals, let's support black own. Africa, America's backbone. If we take our spine back, where will you go? For your oils and your gold and your new phones. 80% the coltan from Congo. And John know they make our maps look small, low. Africa be bigger than what they show. John know they make our maps look small, low. 80% the coltan from Congo. Make Africa home again. Africa, Africa home again, baby. Make Africa home again. Africa, Africa home again, baby. Africa home again. Africa, Africa, Africa home again, baby. Africa home again. Africa, Africa, Africa home again, baby.
Be like say I dey go. If you look my face, you follow. Yes sir, I dey go to the motherland. Sick of that be the place I get the upper hand. And me ready the vibe, yeah, but she a walk, you can never tell another black man what he can't do, Can't tell me nothing, cause I'm never coming back. The place I dey go, we never go the lack. Keep on fighting, freedom fighter. Kelly beloved, put up your lighter.
Keep on fighting, freedom fighter.
Kelly beloved, put up your lighter.
Make Africa home again. Africa, Africa home again, baby. Make Africa home again. Africa, Africa home again, baby. Make Africa home again, baby. You know that the motherland's waiting. Make Africa home again, baby. You know that the motherland's waiting. 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 Mother, 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 mother,
With an oath of blood, written in everything I hold dear, you see, I follow these men. I follow these men and women in the erased memories buried in oceans of war and pride, in revolts that knew there was no such free men without charred bodies and rouged limbs. Men who knew there was no freedom without independence. You see, it's from them. It's from them we learn what this body can do. Hands that turn guerrilla warfare into revolution. Feet that leap cross transatlantic like rain puddles. This jump ain't nothing. Backs like threshing floors, taking each backlash meant to reduce us to 3/5 of a man. You see, we are the same. We stand and stick our chest out like it's full of fire when standing still. Becomes an act of God, like we remember this body, be king in this spirit, be fierce. We make revolutions out of revelations. We are powerful, incorruptible, full of burning spirit. We take what is ours, move what is unjust, shift what is out of place, heal what cannot be fixed, and we're just returning to what we first were. We're going home. We're going home. Yeah.
Okay, what's going on, everybody? Come on in, come on in, come on in. So yeah, I decided to go live randomly because I'm actually busy this weekend. I'm actually gonna be traveling. So I'm so excited for that. And later this year in the summer, I'm actually going to be going to an African country. I don't know how long, maybe 2 weeks or something, and I'll come back. And I'm gonna try to be doing the whole back and forth thing. Like I'm gonna be try to most likely because I'm planning on actually moving permanently to an African country. I'll mention which one a bit later, but I'm actually planning on moving there in a span of 2 years. So before actually moving there, I'm gonna have to like go there and visit there and like see how life is there before I actually can say that I'm moving there forever. So yeah, anyways, that's what's basically going on. So welcome everybody. Hope you guys are all doing well. Yeah, I don't like streaming on Fridays. Sundays are my day, but again, I'm going to be traveling this Sunday. So I just don't think I'll be able to do that. So in the meanwhile, I just wanted to quickly talk about, and I really mean quickly, because I think Tunisia is going live a little bit later tonight, and I kind of want to watch a bit of that live as well. So yeah, the topic today is I just find it very interesting that the UK, right, has gold reserves. Like they literally have vaults where they literally just store gold. But it's like, guys, call me stupid, right? I don't think UK actually produces gold. So where did they get it from? You know what I mean? And people are gonna be like, oh yeah, they bought it. They did not buy all their gold. Okay, the UK did not buy all the gold that's in UK right now, apparently. So I want to talk about that. Um, and I guess the major theme that I wanted to touch upon is, well, I'm gonna ask you guys this question. I already have the answer in my head, but I want to see what you guys think about it. Do you guys believe in the resource curse theory? So there's a theory, right? There's a theory that the more resources you have, the worst off you actually are, because people are going to want to take those resources from you, right? So if you're a country and let's say you have a lot of diamonds, you have a lot of um, timber, you have a lot of coltan, you have a lot of a certain natural resource, is it actually a blessing or is it a curse? There have been a lot of literature over the years that say that the resource curse is real, um, that nations who have certain resources, um, that some of them are not well off because they have these resources, but they don't have some of them, not all of them, right? But generally speaking, most nations who have these resources don't have the mechanisms of actually defending or protecting these resources. So then the question is, what's the point of having it if you can't secure it, type of thing, right? Let me share my screen so some of you guys are following. Oh, and remember to like, share, and subscribe. I was going to make this subscribers only comment section, but I decided, you know what? I'll do that next time. So if you aren't subscribed, consider yourself lucky because you can comment today. So how does a state's natural resources wealth influence its economic development? For the past 50 years, versions of this question have been explored by both economics and political scientists. New research suggests that the resource wealth tends to harm economic growth, yet there's little agreement on why this occurs. This article reviews a wide range of recent attempts in both economics and political science to explain the resource curse. It suggests that much has been learned about the economic problems of resource exporters, but less is known about their political problems. The disparity between strong findings on economic matters and weak findings on political reflects the failure of political sciences to carefully test their own theories. So I guess I should actually just get a basic definition of this. Hold on, because I know this is probably new for some people. Let me just get a basic definition that makes more sense. Hold on. So I have it right here. Okay, so the resource curse, also known as the paradox of plenty, refers to the failure of many resource rich countries to benefit fully from their natural resource wealth, and for governments in these countries to respond effectively to public welfare needs. And this is a really good point because I don't really know too much about Denmark itself, but I know that Denmark, Switzerland are some of the countries that have like the best um human index. So they're some of the countries that take care of their citizens the most. People from those countries tend to be the happiest, tend to have less stress. There's a lot of social help from the government and a lot of social services. But unless I'm not mistaken, I don't think Denmark and Switzerland, well, Switzerland I know has a couple of resources, but I don't believe Denmark actually has a lot of resources. So how is it that there are some countries that literally don't have many resources, but they're able to like take care of their people? But then vice versa, you have countries that are literally feeding the whole world. They're literally some countries you can go to the ground and there's literally gold on the ground. And you look around in the street and the street is not even paved. Okay. I'll give you guys a perfect example. There's a city in Ghana called Obuasi, right? And that's literally known as Gold Town. Like you can literally go there and mine gold. Like it's not that hard. But you look around in the city, it looks nothing like Accra. Like there's no roads, barely paved. The people who live in the mines, you'll be shocked. They actually live in really poor conditions. And you're just like, wait, but you're mining gold, but you don't even have a home? Like, it's just like, nah. You know what I mean? But I don't know. Would you guys think that this has something to do with certain countries not really caring? Because, see, I'm sad about this, but then I've also noticed that the weird part about being really like angry or activist towards this is that, these deals have been happening for decades, like Ghana willingly gives, well, I think it's willingly, but Ghana willingly gives UK gold for like basically free because Ghana is not able to develop the gold. It's not able to export and manufacture this gold in large quantities. I'm not saying that Ghana doesn't, develop or export. Okay, I guess I'm using the wrong word. Ghana doesn't manufacture its gold. It does, but it doesn't manufacture its gold in big enough or large enough quantities to actually be a seller in the international market. Same thing with Nigeria. Like I know Nigeria has a lot of oil, and Dangote is working on making like that oil refinery so that Nigeria can get a cut of the oil business. But at the same time, it's like, how is Dangote and the likes of Dangote himself gonna stand against Shell, gonna stand against Esso, gonna stand against all these other petrol companies that have a stake in this market for decades. Like, how is that? Are they willingly gonna let someone like Dangote get into the oil industry with no pushbacks, no setbacks? Like, how is this gonna happen? Type of thing, you know? Not discouraging it. Okay, so I don't want anyone to say, oh, why are you saying bad things for bad things to happen? I'm not discouraging it. I'm not speaking against it. But the way the world is, like, let's be realistic here. If I want to all of a sudden, right, say that I want to sell chocolates, okay, I want to take Kit Kats out of the market. I want to take Mars out of the market. I want to take Snickers out of the market. I want to take Cadbury out of the market. And I want to produce my own chocolate and sell it to people. Aren't these chocolate companies going to be like, wait, what's going on? Like, they're not going to be like, oh, yeah, you want to do a partnership? Come on in. Sure. Have a seat with us. No, they're going to be looking like, wait, there's competition out of nowhere. No, we have to put a stop to this. So let me go ahead and attempt to play the first clip, okay? I don't know if I could even do it because BBC be bugging. Okay, BBC be butthurt sometimes. So let me see if I can actually play it without getting in trouble.
I think your stats said if you were going to do an Italian job on this place, you'd need 4,000 minutes.
That's right, yeah.
It's incredible to look at, but it doesn't do anything. Why is it so valuable?
Partly because it's rare, so it's in limited supply, you can't keep making it. The gold here is a store of value. It is globally recognised. People want gold, so it creates a market in itself. It doesn't change value as much, for example, as currencies. This is a lot more durable than investing in chocolate or something like that.
All right, so I'm gonna pause it a little bit because YouTube gonna be like, you stealing our video, so whatever. Let me just make a little bit of commentary. But you guys see this? That's a lot of gold, and they just have it in these vaults. Like, they just have it in these areas. Later on in this video, they're gonna explain how the UK they're even like storing their gold in other countries. Like, they have so much of it that it wasn't even feasible for them to just store it all in the central Bank of England or Bank of whatever they call it. They have these reserves in Australia. They got them in Canada. They got some in the US. It's like, dang. What? Well, I was going to ask you guys, when did they have time to do all of this? But we all know when they had time to do all of this. But it's just really interesting how UK literally has an abundance of gold reserves. Not just UK, but obviously I'm focusing on the UK. But some of these countries that produce this gold, that literally have gold on their ground, don't have gold vaults. They don't have gold reserves. Now, people are going to get mad at me, but last time I checked, I really highly doubt that Ghana has this. Even if Ghana has this, it doesn't have it to the level that UK does. Now, I'm going to argue and say that I 99% think that Ghana doesn't have this, only because I haven't heard of Ghanaians talking about it. I haven't heard of people I haven't heard of where you can go and see the gold vaults. You know, even when I was in Ghana, like I've never heard of people talk about, oh, this is where we actually store our gold. All I all I remember from Ghana is, oh, this is where we mine gold. This is where we find gold. But I never heard of, oh, this is where we actually store it and just like keep it there. So very, very interesting. Very, very interesting.
What would this be worth, roughly?
£475,000 at today's market price.
All right, well, that will sort the mortgage.
So most bars are in this, what we think of as a trapezoid form. So it makes it easier to handle. But this bar here from the United States is in the form of brick. The Federal Reserve Bank of New York, it is built on bedrock, so the gold can be stacked one on top of another. Here at the Bank of England, because it's built on clay, we have floor loading limits, which is why we have the gold in pallets. All of the gold that was held in London was sent to the Bank of Canada in Ottawa. The area was used as an air raid shelter, and it had a canteen, had a billiards table, it had beds in.
Hey, can I even be mad? Well, of course I am. But I mean, Obronis are so smart, man. Like, Obronis, oh my goodness. Like, these Obronis have gold in air-conditioned rooms with security being protected. Like, for gold? Oh, man. These people. Anyway. Before I go any further, I'm just gonna say greetings to all you guys who are here. Thanks for being here. Hi Zape, how are you? Are you from Kaizo's stream? Because I think this is the first time that I've seen you. No, I'm thinking of actually going to an East African country. Yeah, I'm thinking about it. I'll tell you more about it when it actually happens or when it's closer to happening. Because yeah, but I'll tell you more about it exactly where. The resource curse theory is that BS that was made up by Westerners to justify their exploitations of those countries. Yeah, and I was actually going to, because see, back in the days, I actually used to believe in this because, you know, it's why it's in a lot of scholaristic yeah, like it was in a lot of papers and books that I read, especially for my program. Whenever I was talking about economics or whenever I was doing research into these type of things, this resource curse thing would always come up. So I actually used to believe that it was actually real, that the more resources you have as a nation, like the more cursed you are, because it's like you're gonna have to protect yourself from other countries who want to steal those resources from you. But as I'm like, you know, I don't know, I guess as I'm living and as I'm growing, I'm starting to realize that that is actually not true. You having a whole bunch of resources does not mean that you're doomed to fail. It does not mean that you're doomed to always be paranoid. It does not mean that just because you have a whole bunch of resources that you're not capable of taking care of your own people. That is absolute nonsense. And yes, I agree with you. That is a man-made theory. And it's a theory that was made to basically explain why certain countries are going through X, Y, and Z type of thing. So to me, that theory, that is definitely a cover-up, you know, because there are some countries that do have resources and they're doing okay. So then it doesn't explain why some other countries who have resources are not doing okay. And I definitely think it has more to do with internal politics of the country. It has to do with corruption. It has to do with devaluing yourself or even devaluing your resource. It has so many other factors than just the fact that you have the resource. That's what I'm thinking. But yeah, it took me a while to arrive at that, because at first I used to think, oh, they're right. Like, you have resources, you're screwed. But no, it's actually not like that. Now, one thing I will say is true is if you a G, okay, if you a G like Britain was, like Rome was, like US was, like Germany was, like France was, and you just go ahead and you steal stuff from other people, then of course you're going to advance yourself, because you're not playing by the books. So that's how a lot of these countries came up. They just, hey, they wanted something, they went and they got it by lying, cheating. Not a lot of these countries did it in an honorable way. Like, a lot of these countries literally, like Canada, like, oh yeah, I'm a proud Canadian. Oh yeah, your ancestors literally murdered the people who live here and took over their nation and are now calling their resources yours. Yeah, you really honorable. So yeah, I definitely think that I definitely think that's just the way that everyone else did it. And in the clip, right, or maybe another clip I'll play, they're actually going to explain that a lot of these resources that a lot of these countries stole, because some of them say, oh yeah, we bought all this oil, we bought all these diamonds, we bought all of this steel, which is a lie. Some of them did buy them, but most of it was looted, to be quite honest. Yeah, but in their quest to industrialize their countries, in the quest to actually, build factories and build roads and to deeply develop their countries, that gave way to basically the excuse or the right to go and steal from others, because they were like, okay, well, this industrial revolution has to happen and we don't have the money for it, so we have to go and get the money, type of thing. So I'm going to play another clip that is basically going to explain this, and this is going to be in context of what happened to India. Sometimes when I'm thinking about African news and African things, I sometimes forget that this happened to a lot of people around the whole world. It wasn't just Africa. Happened to Asia, happened to Australia. Yeah, it happened to a whole bunch of continents as well. The Commonwealth. The Commonwealth was basically their empire that they basically stole from everybody, right? So I keep forgetting that it's not just an African context, but obviously for the purposes of this channel, I mostly just focus on that aspect because that's the aspect that I care about the most. So let me go ahead and play. And guys, if you're not subscribed to this channel, I suggest that you subscribe to her. I really like some of the things that they do because they're really, would I say that they're biased? Yes, but they're biased in their own best interests. And I just like it. I like hearing about it.
If you read their version of history, you would think that the British Raj was the best thing that could have ever happened to India. But the fact is that the British looted India. A greedy and racist British Raj financed its industrial revolution by robbing India, and now there is more data to prove it. A study by Indian scholars reveals stunning numbers. The British looted as much as $45 trillion. Let that number sink in. 45 trillion dollars between 1765 and 1938. Just so that you get a sense of how big this sum is, let me give you another figure. The amount of money that the British looted from India, $45 trillion, is 17 times the current GDP of the UK, 17. That's how much India, which used to be one of the richest countries in the world, was reduced to one of the poorest. But defenders of the British Raj would argue otherwise. They claim to have given India democracy, a free press, and the rule of law. They claim to have built the Indian railways, taught Indians how to speak English, and even play cricket. A British research company, in fact, asked the citizens of the UK about this in 2014. What they found is astonishing. Nearly 2/3 of British citizens feel that the empire was something to be proud of. They did well, they believe. And that includes their politicians. They share this belief. One notable member of this club is a former prime minister. When David Cameron was in office, he was asked about his thoughts on the empire, and he said, there is a lot that Britain can be proud of. The timing of the statement was even worse. He was visiting the Jallianwala Bagh in Amritsar in 2013. Listen to his comments, and I'm quoting. This is what the former British PM said. As I was asked the question yesterday, in terms of our relationship with India, is our past a help or a handicap?
See, when Obronis and Oyimbos, used to say things like this, it used to bother me. When they used to be like, oh, I'm proud of my history. And I'm like, wait, you're proud of what your ancestors did, like having slavery and like going to other people's countries and dominating and making themselves emperors and telling the citizens of those nations that they had to pay them taxes, else they would either be prisoners of war or enslaved. But trying to be more objective, I feel like if I was an Obroni, I probably would be proud of that history too, because I would think, okay, well, we're all men, right? Like we're all men. It's not like Obronis are superhuman beings and they have like these abilities that no one else has. Like we're all capable. So the fact that they were able to actually dominate other people and not even being physically stronger than them, but using other mechanisms to actually dominate them, that you really have to think like that's actually really strategic. That's actually really strategic. So now that I'm thinking about it, if I was an Obroni, I would probably be proud of my ancestors' history too. I'll be proud that my ancestors were in a country that literally doesn't have much resources, right? Doesn't have much to offer, but my ancestors were able to find a way of creating generational wealth for me and my nation. Like, now that I think of it from that aspect, it makes me less angry when I hear them talk about certain things. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't know if I'm going to be canceled for saying that, but yeah, I just said it.
I would say that it's a help because of the shared history, culture, the things that we share, and also the contributions the Indians talk about that we've made. Contributions. No word on the colonial loot, no word on the misdeeds, the rampant abuses. That's a part of history that has been conveniently brushed under the carpet. It is a fact that British school students do not learn much about their colonial past in schools. Here's a quick eye-opener for them and for all those people who believe that the Brits helped India. This is what they did. The British imposed heavy taxes on Indian producers. The British stole goods and exported them around the world for a profit of 100%. The earnings were then used to finance imports of strategic materials like iron, tar, and timber from Europe. These were essential to the industrialization of the Great Britain. Due to loot from India, Britain had an impressive trade surplus that lasted for 3 decades in the 20th century. In fact, most of the so-called hallmarks, like the railways and the British architecture in India, were actually built by the Brits for themselves, for their own use, to help their own interests in India. These were no gifts for India or Indians. Take the example of the railways. The British built the network for themselves. No two ways about it. They used their own technology. Indians were forced to buy British equipment at high prices. The bill was footed by Indian taxpayers. We paid them for building all this. The British earned all the money. And now they want gratitude too. I'm afraid we can only give them numbers and numbers they may not like. India's share of the world economy when Britain arrived on its shores was 23%.
And I just wanted to stop there because she raised a really good point, right? She raised a really good point. I remember a year ago we were having a stream, right? And this is when Kwesi was still back on YouTube. And he was like, wouldn't it be more beneficial for African countries, especially countries like Ghana, if the colonizers were still there? Like our economies would be more advanced. We would just be at a better place in the global ranking. And you had a whole bunch of opinions. Some people were saying yes, some people were saying no. But even though I am jealous of certain African countries that have the colonizers there and they're able to move forward, I've always thought if the colonizers stayed, I'm going to speak in the context of Ghana. This probably applies to other countries, but let me just speak on the context of Ghana. If the colonizers stayed in Ghana, they're still there, but I mean, like, if they stayed and they actually lived there, would the institutions that they built, like, would they be easily accessible to native Ghanaians? I don't think so. Okay, because see, and I get it, like, Ghanaians are not angry at Britain anymore. Ghanaians have moved forward, they moved past it. I get it. I'm not saying you got to be mad and like, no, I'm not saying you have to be angry, right? But at the same time, like, when people go like, oh well, they were so nice, they built schools, they built churches, they built stores, they built roads, they built railroads, it's like, you realize they were building all these things for their benefit. Like, you I find it very, I don't find it coincidental at all, actually, that in certain African countries, the roads that are very developed, the pathways that are so developed, are the pathways in which resources come out of the country. Okay. So certain places where there are factories, certain places where there's a lot of development, those were put there for the colonizers' benefit. That wasn't a gift that they literally just gave to you because they love you so much because you're a human being. So I've always wondered and pondered about that. Before I move any forward, though, thanks, Rongalese. Appreciate it. Nice to see you. Artifacts of War, thank you. Appreciate it. But yeah, let me continue the video because I even forgot that they didn't just do this to Africa, they did this to other nations as well. And it's like, it's sad because it's like, see, this even ties into the whole reparations conversation. Like, should African countries ever demand reparations for what the colonizers did, or was independence reparations enough? Like, I've always wondered, I'm like, I think that a lot of African countries actually have a petition, a right for petition to reparations for certain things that happen. I don't think it's too late, but are people thinking along those lines? I guess not. I guess they took the forgiveness pathway and are thinking about moving forward. But if the roles were reversed and we did that to them, do you think that they would go without a fight? Let me continue.
By the time they left, India's share was down to less than 4%. Why and how did that happen? Simply because India had been governed for all these years for the benefit of Britain. Britain's rise for 200 years was financed by its depredations in India. These are not my words. These are the words of Congress lawmaker Shashi Tharoor. Take a look at this.
It was a rare moment in Indian politics. Narendra Modi heaping praise on Shashi Tharoor for his debating skills. Modi was commending the opposition lawmaker for his passionate argument in the Oxford Union debate on whether Britain owes India reparations for 200 years of its colonial rule. The essence of Tharoor's submission was about the toll that British rule took on India's economy.
India's share of the world economy when Britain arrived on its shores was 23%. By the time the British left, it was down to below 4%. Why? Simply because India had been governed for the benefit of Britain. Britain's rise for 200 years was financed by its depredations in India. In fact, Britain's industrial revolution was actually premised upon the deindustrialization of India.
Modi said Tharoor's speech gelled with the feelings of patriotic Indians on the issue and also shows what impression one can leave with effective arguments by saying the right things at the right place.
As far as I'm concerned, the ability to acknowledge a wrong that has been done, to simply say sorry, will go a far, far, far longer way than some percentage of GDP in the form of aid. What is required, it seems to me, is accepting the principle that reparations are owed. Personally, I'd be quite happy if it was £1 a year for the next 200 years after the last 200 years of Britain and India.
The debate was entitled, "This House Believes Britain Owes Reparations to Her Former Colonies." It was organized by the Oxford Union, a debating society in the English city of Oxford, whose members are drawn from the University of Oxford. And just in case you're curious to know who won the debate, well, Tharoor's team won the debate with 185 votes to 56. Bureau Report, WION, World is One.
For example.
Have you heard of the Rosetta Stone? It's one of the most precious artifacts of all time, the first clue to understanding ancient Egyptian scripts. It led to the discovery of at least 3 writing systems. This stone is as old as modern civilization, the Rosetta Stone. Then we have the Elgin marbles, a set of Greek sculptures from the 5th century. They were built to decorate Parthenon, the Temple of Athena. They're exquisite, just like the Benin bronzes. This is a collection of metal plaques. They once decorated the Kingdom of Benin. The Benin bronzes are an African treasure. They show how skilled African artists were. Then comes the Tanjore Shiva, another masterpiece. It's a bronze statue of Lord Shiva, the Hindu god, made almost 1,000 years ago during the Chola dynasty, a testimony to the remarkable craftsmanship of the sculptors of ancient India. These are all stunning pieces of art. Do you know what's common between them? They're all present in the British Museum, or should I say the British warehouse of loot. These artifacts were either stolen or won by force or acquired unfairly. Today, they serve as a cruel reminder of colonial times. But the British Museum displays them with pride. It presents them as prized treasures, showing no sense of remorse for the past crimes or gratitude for the people from whom these were taken.
Okay, yeah. So I could literally do a whole stream with videos from WION News, but that's not necessary. But yeah, going back to what she was talking about earlier, and this brings a discussion that is very prevalent today, right? Recently, they were talking about how they want to help African countries, their words, not mine, how they want to help African countries fight against global warming, fight against climate change. And I'm just like, bro, Africa, with the exception of maybe China, but most of Africa and Asia do not contribute to these high amounts of toxic greenhouse CO2 gas emissions. That's literally you. That's you in Europe that do this. You in Europe literally polluted all of the world. Okay. And now you're here talking about you want to help African countries fight against global warming. It's like, when did you ever want to help African countries with anything? And even when you claim that you're helping African countries with things, it's like, you hurt me, right? You stabbed me. And now you're saying, oh, okay, let me take you to the hospital so you could feel better. It's like, wait, what? Why do you care all of a sudden? Like, do you even care? Or is this part of your humanism like work that you do? Is this part of your whole United Nations plan of you actually showing that you care about other countries when we all know you really don't care about other countries? You care about your own bottom line. Like, we know that. So why do they always do this whole thing of, oh, we're helping this country, we're helping this nation, we're doing missionary work, we're building hospitals, we're building water wells? It's like, where does this all of this come from, and why do some of us still keep following for this? You know, in the case of IMF, restructural agreements, loans, I get it. Yeah, you need to borrow to develop your own country. I get it. But I still don't understand why some leaders still take free money from these institutions and think that it's all good. Think that, oh yeah, they're my brother. They just care about me that much. That's why they want to help me. Like, no, they don't. I don't get why people still think that. Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. That's very true. That's very true. Um so they have the most resources in the Middle East, but they're not rich. So are you then saying that the oil rich countries are actually doomed? Because there have been talks of what are these oil rich countries going to do after, their resources become finite? Well, I think that these oil rich countries are actually ahead of the game, because even if they don't have any oil anymore or whatever, yeah, that could cause instability in these countries, but they still have a really good tourism sector, and I don't think that's going away anytime soon. I definitely think Saudi Arabia, Dubai, Kuwait, Lebanon, and a whole bunch of these other countries, they can definitely get away with just riding the whole tourism aspect of their countries for a very, very long time. Arabian Nights, all of that, it sells. So I think that they're even in a better position than some other countries are, because with some of these other countries, it's like, once your gold runs out, once your diamonds run out, once your oil is what if it doesn't run out but it's no longer selling anymore? That's something that sometimes people forget. In the 50s and the 60s, there were certain resources that certain countries had that they were able to sell for hundreds of dollars. Now they can't. I forgot what country it was, if it was Zambia or Namibia. I think it's Zambia. But Zambia used to be the copper, like, capital of the world, so to speak, right? So their economy was doing extremely well because everybody needed copper at one point. But look nowadays, copper is not valuable like that. So what happens when you have all these resources and it's not that they even run out, but they're not valued the same anymore? Like, what do you do about that? You know? And that definitely was the fall of certain countries that only focused on developing one thing. And then when the markets, changed, they realized they were losing money. This happened with a couple of countries with rubber, right? Rubber was very, very popular um, in the beginning of the century. But now rubber is like, people are trying to move away from even materials like that. You think Nigeria oil belongs to the Commonwealth countries? Africa should not be selling its gold, but build a gold reserve. A country without gold reserve is not credible on the international level to acquire loans and investments. Yeah, and again, this all goes back to the fiat. This goes back to the gold standard. Like, how did somebody come with a gold standard and they literally have no gold? Like, how did that even happen? You know what I mean? Like, a lot of currencies are still backed by gold. Don't believe the Bitcoin hype. Don't believe the online currency hype, okay? A lot of currencies nowadays are still backed up by gold. Where does all this gold come from? Now, I hate using Google, but I really did not have time. Okay. So I'm going to try to trust this resource unless someone has a better resource for me. But these are apparently the top producing gold countries. Okay. China makes sense. Australia makes sense. Russia makes sense. US does not make sense. Canada does not make sense. Ghana, questionable. Mexico, okay. South Africa, Uzbekistan, Peru, Sudan, Indonesia, Brazil, Kazakhstan, Burkina Faso, Papua New Guinea, Tanzania, and Colombia. I know that there are definitely some countries that are missing from this list. Okay. But regardless, I just find it very, very interesting that these happen to be the top three. Just the China, I get it. Like I kind of I actually understand that, but Russia, Australia, okay. Okay. And to this list as well, it really is so annoying that I see Ghana being over here, but it's like if you look at the state if you look at the state of the Ghanaian economy, like that doesn't reflect that at all. So I'm just kind of like, what? You know? Let me now search countries with the most gold. Oh, wow. I searched countries with the most gold and I got I keep getting Olympic medals. So the US has the largest gold reserve. That makes sense. Um so the US has a very large gold reserve. So does the IMF, the World Bank, a lot of these other institutions that actually grant loans to countries. That's how they fund these loans, so to speak, or historically, that's how they did that. So this is a lot. Like this is a lot. Wow. Germany. And people always love to make fun of Italy and say that Italy's a dump, but they got some gold. I mean, when did this happen? Was this during Mussolini? Like, when was this? I don't remember ever in history reading about this, but shout out to Italy. And France has that. That makes sense. So Russia is gonna be all right in regards to everything that's happening in recent news. And where is the largest known stockpile of gold? It's in the US. It's in the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. Very, very, very interesting. Let me see here. African countries who produce the most gold. This resource looks kind of old. So let me go to the second one then. Top 5 gold mining countries of Africa. So Africa's gold mining industry, traditionally dominated by South Africa, has shifted forces with countries such as Ghana, Mali, and Burkina Faso entering the fray. And this is just, well, I'll just say that I find it very, very interesting. Because I guess out of all those countries, South Africa seems to be doing okay. Not doing as good as it can be doing, but doing okay, right? But it's just interesting that you see Ghana, Mali, Burkina Faso. It's like that is literally the Sahel. That is the desert. Like that's the Sahel. How is there gold in the Sahel? But the Sahel is going through so much instability, so much economic like changes, and not necessarily bad, but just a bit more volatile and not really yeah, just a bit more volatile. So it's just very, very interesting to me how these countries are, going ahead and producing a lot of gold, but it's like the political issues that are happening in these countries is not seeming to be improving at a fast rate, at least in my opinion. So, anyways, Ghana has 142.4 tons. I forgot what number the US had, but I'm pretty sure that's. Wait, let me double check. I think the US was 8,000 tons or something, and Ghana has 142. South Africa has 118.2 tons. Sudan has 76.6 tons. Mali has 71.1 tons, and I had no idea that Mali was in this industry. That's very interesting. Burkina Faso has 62 tons. Again, had no idea that this was happening. But yeah. Let me stop for a minute and continue to what you're saying. So 1 bar is worth damn near $1 million. Yeah. Yeah. And again, I'm not really seeing Congo in this list, but you guys remember that video not long ago of like people literally finding gold on the ground in Congo. Let me see if I can find that video. Hold on. So to me, it's like when we saw that video of the people in the UK saying, oh, this is how much 1 bar of gold is, but they're literally countries that have there are literally countries that have more of the equivalent of those reserves on their land. And it's just interesting. And I was even I remember when this story was going viral, and there were some of us, and we were like, we're really happy for the people in Congo, but what does this mean? Like, how are they going to actually benefit from this? I was even against them posting these videos because I was like, well, people already know that Congo is a very resource rich nation. Isn't this going to bring on more bad attention than good attention? But whatever, it's whatever.
A viral video shows locals flocking a mountain in Congo and digging using shovels, other tools, and even bare hands on the mountain because it was found to have gold ores. The video is from the Democratic Republic of the Congo of Africa. After news of gold being excavated from the mountain of Congo was spread in the area, thousands of people rushed to the mountain and started this treasure hunt. This video was shared on Twitter by a user named Ahmed Al-Gobri. A video from the Republic of the Congo documents the biggest surprise for some villagers in this country, as an entire mountain filled with gold was discovered. They dig the soil inside the gold deposits and take them to their homes in order to wash the dirt and extract the gold, wrote Ahmed while sharing the video. In another video shared by Al-Gobri, locals can be seen washing the dirt off the gold and extracting the precious metal in containers. The country authorities had to impose a ban on mining activities in the village to stop the crazy gold rush in their country.
Nah, this is crazy. This is crazy. Imagine if this was the West. Like, just imagine. It's like people know how valuable these resources are, but there just is no care. There's just no care in preservation. There's no care in cultivation. So many excuses. You speak to some of these governments, believe it or not, I've actually sent a couple of letters to ministers, but evidently I'm not important, to speak to ministers, so they don't really care about what I have to say, right? Whenever speaking to these ministers, I would always ask them about certain things, like not in the context of gold, but in the context of other resources that I know that we can actually produce and manufacture and manage. Even if it's one plant, we have the resources to at least start doing that, or start taking it more seriously if we're already doing that. Whenever you speak to these ministers about these type of things, they just say, oh, well, we have more important matters to think about. It's like, oh, okay, so I guess you selling that resource for $2 when it's worth $100, that's fine with you. Okay. True. The Museum of London is built on African artifacts exactly. And I remember, I think it was Namibia. Namibia actually asked, was it Germany? I think it was Germany recently. Namibia asked Germany for reparations, and they did get a bit of reparations, but they didn't get enough that actually what they were supposed to pay for. But I guess that's a step in the right direction, at least having that conversation and confronting these people. So shout outs to them for that. Um no, actually I explained the reason why I'm streaming today is because I can't stream on Sunday. That's the day that I normally stream. I can't stream on Sunday because I'm actually busy. So I'm just gonna do a stream just to do it type of thing. We need to remember we are at the bottom of the barrel. We have everything of value, but respect paper over solid commodity. Now, I was gonna ask, do you guys think, because okay, I think that a resource specifically to the title of the topic, a resource such as gold, I think at one point was extremely valuable, but I really don't think that it's that valuable anymore. Just because of the way that we live in such a fake world, like you could buy fake gold type of thing. So I don't even know how a country like Ghana, Burkina Faso, Mali, or whoever would capitalize off of gold in 2022 when I feel like that gold rush was kind of already gone, like in my personal opinion. I'm not saying there isn't a point in trying, but I don't think the solution is just to think about gold anymore like that, even. And in the case of Nigeria, right? A lot of people having conversations about oil in Nigeria, like, yeah, of course. But I think that even oil, um, there are different types of oils, obviously, but I think that a lot of oil, it's gonna become like as we see people are starting to use hybrid cars. Some countries are gonna completely ban um like gasoline vehicles. They're gonna ban a lot of these things anyway. So it's like, is it too late to even try to monopolize on the whole oil industry when I feel like it's even shaky? Like I feel like it's becoming shaky. And not to sound redundant, but I think that this is the importance of really taking advantage or trying to take more advantage into agricultural science, into farming. I think that would be the advantage in that, because it's just a lot of these natural resources that we think is just going to be here forever, they're not. And their value diminishes, and then like what happens after that type of thing. Okay, so you're saying that there was no choice into working with them because they were gonna mm, okay. Well, see, this is the thing I've always wondered, right? Like, if they really wanted all of us gone and just to take over the whole continent, I'm sure they could have done that. I'm just saying, like, if they really just wanted to be like, okay, screw all these people, we're just gonna go there and like get rid of everybody and just take this land and steal all these resources. I feel like they could have already done that by now. Maybe they're still in the process of doing it. Who knows? But I don't know. I feel like when we use the excuse of, well, we had no choice but to work with them, it's like, well, now we have the choice not to. So why don't we do that? Like, why don't we try to challenge these deals and these standings more? I'll give you guys a perfect example. Again, not to sound so redundant, but because the topic is about gold, I'm going to actually speak about gold a lot, right? In the case of gold production, I think Ghana makes less than 10% of the sales of gold production. So Ghana basically gives its gold away for free. Even after it being stolen, Ghana gives gold for free, which that probably was part of the Independence Act. I'm not sure. It could have been an agreement that was signed and okayed by certain governments. I'm not sure. But it's like, what makes me sad about it's the fact that you rarely hear serious conversations on how do we even just make more money from the gold? Why don't we just demand more? Instead of 10%, why don't we demand 40%? Now, someone say, oh, you should be demanding 60%, but hey, we don't really have a military like that. So I think, we can't be that choosy. But 10%, I think, is just so asinine. Like, I think that's so evil and not fair. And it's like, I'm just wondering why there hasn't or haven't been conversations in how we could get more than 10%. I'm just wondering why that's not happening. So Most Solomon is saying leaders are selling Africans short instead of we should be charging leaders with capital punishment. Thanks to Artifact War as well. Treason is punishable by death, hanging at noon in Tiananmen Square. Africans should be revolting like the Chinese. Yeah, they should. In the century of shame, and now look at them. Africans don't have the stomach to fight broken people. Now, this is the thing. People will say, "Oh, some of them are just ignorant and they don't know." And I actually believe that most are really actually ignorant and have no idea. I really do believe that most just have no idea that this is how evil the world is and that everyone's taking advantage of them. I honestly, truthfully believe that because they're so focused on their day-to-day life, they're so focused on what their leaders are doing and failing to do, that they don't realize that that's a mask for something else. So yeah, I believe that a lot of them really just don't know. And once they do know, I hope that they do become like China and demand more and have more revolts and have more protests. Who knows? All African gold, diamond, uranium mines must be nationalized. We can't let. I think Akon was trying to do something with the gold mines in Senegal, and no, not gold mines in Senegal. I mean gold mines in Congo. Um, so shout out to Akon for doing that, but it always begs the question of why aren't more people who are capable of doing this not doing this? Because sometimes people ask me, well, why aren't you doing something about it? I'm like, I would love to do something about it, but I literally don't have the funds to buy gold mines right now. Like I literally don't have the funds to buy diamond mines right now. Like I don't. If I did, I would definitely do something about it. But it's like there are people who are capable of doing something about it and they don't. So I've always wondered why. We need a union of scholars and legal minds in Europe and Asia and Americas to connect with the forward-minded Africans of each nation. I don't know. I just feel like, honestly, like all this stuff is like, we know that there are injustices and we know that there are things that are wrong, but it's like, are people willing to actually put their lives on the line to do something about it? Because I think that's where it stops. It's like everyone knows that there's injustices, everyone knows that there's something wrong, but no one actually wants to put their life on the line to like really be about it. And I get it. You ask some people, why don't you want to do this? And they'll look at, oh, look at Thomas Sankara, look at all Patrice Lumumba, look at all the people who did stand up and what happened to them. So why would we do it again? But it's like, that's the whole reason why we have to continue to do it. We literally have to continue to do it until all of us are eliminated. That's the only way that there will be, I guess, a righteous glory, so to speak. We can't just look at like 5 leaders that got assassinated and be like, oh, well, this is the reason why we can't do it. It's because if we do it, they're going to assassinate us. Like, okay, in that case, let them assassinate all of us if it really has to go down like that. But I really don't think people are really about it like that. So I don't know. I don't know how to get past this limbo, but
Students with ADHD.
and one last let me play one last short clip before I take a look into more of the comments and I guess open up the panels if anybody wants to come in. I'm trying to make this stream short. Hold on.
Have you heard of the Rosetta Stone? It's one of the most precious artifacts of all time, the first clue to understanding ancient Egyptian scripts. It led to the discovery of at least 3 writing systems. This stone is as old as modern civilization, the Rosetta Stone. Then we have the Elgin marbles, a set of Greek sculptures from the 5th century. They were built to decorate Parthenon, the Temple of Athena. They're exquisite, just like the Benin bronzes. This is a collection of metal plaques. They once decorated the kingdom of Benin. The Benin bronzes are an African treasure. They show how skilled African artists were. Then comes the Tanjore Shiva, another masterpiece. It's a bronze statue of Lord Shiva, the Hindu god, made almost 1,000 years ago during the Chola dynasty, a testimony to the remarkable craftsmanship of the sculptors of ancient India. These are all stunning pieces of art. Do you know what's common between them? They're all present in the British Museum, or should I say the British warehouse of loot. These artifacts were either stolen or won by force or acquired unfairly. Today, they serve as a cruel reminder of colonial times. But the British Museum displays them with pride. It presents them as prized treasures, showing no sense of remorse for the past crimes or gratitude for the people from whom these were taken. And why just Britain? Museums across Europe are filled with such objects, with uncomfortable histories linked to colonialism. So here's a question. Do they have the right to keep displaying these objects? Hello and welcome to Gravitas Plus. I'm Palki Sharma Upadhyay. They say in law, a thief is not allowed to keep ill-gotten gains. No matter how long ago they were taken, they must be returned. No matter how much that thief may have improved them, they must be returned. European nations wrongfully took cultural riches. They took them from countries that are now independent states. But most of them refuse to even discuss returning them. They refuse to make reparations for their historical wrongs. According to the Archaeological Institute of America, 85 to 90% of classical artifacts in museums do not have a documented provenance, meaning they don't have a record of ownership or a record of origin through which museums can justify their right to possess these objects. Most of these artifacts are from Africa and Asia. In 2018, the French government commissioned a report. Guess what they found? Nearly 90% of Africa's cultural heritage is held by museums and institutions outside of Africa. Nearly 90%. France alone has 90,000 such objects, stolen objects. A majority of them can be found at the Quai Branly Museum. It's a state-of-the-art museum situated in Paris. It holds a vast collection of art, indigenous art from the 8 African colonies that France once ruled. Last month, French President Emmanuel Macron decided to make some amends. He made French museums bid adieu to a trove of treasures. At least 26 stolen artifacts taken from the Kingdom of Benin were sent back. The works included palatial doors and royal thrones. They were all returned as a gesture of humility.
Today's gesture is the possibility for the youth of Benin, the youth of Africa, to retrieve the works of their history and heritage, to be able to admire them at home. And I hope that this movement will continue and that the Universal will be accessible in Cotonou as in Paris. And we will continue this work together.
This move has had ramifications across Europe and the US. It has opened a debate on looted artifacts, a debate to send them back to their country of origin. A few museums have decided to do this. They've ceded ground. They've begun a process of restitution, but most of the mighty museums are playing ostrich. I'm talking about the big ones, like the British Museum in London, the Louvre in Paris, the Humboldt Forum in Berlin, the Getty Center in Los Angeles, the Metropolitan in New York. They're all playing dumb. These museums have locked up the precious legacy of 1 million people, and they reject all demands to return any of it.
All right, so you guys get the point. You guys get the point. But it's like, yeah, I remember in Black Panther, that scene, where Killmonger was going to the museum in the UK, and he saw a whole bunch of masks, and at the end of the film, you had some viewers be like, "Well, he's stealing. He's wrong." But it's like those artifacts were stolen in the first place. So was he actually stealing? Anyway, hi Gluet, how you doing? I still have that video. I just put it on private because I don't know. I just felt like the later part of the stream was like, I'm used to fighting. I'm used to people insulting other people's countries, but I don't know. I just felt it was a bit too much, you know, just a bit too much. That's why I decided to, like, if you still want to watch that stream, I still have the link, but I'm just not publicly posting out there for certain reasons. The world treats African countries like immigrants coming to the Western world. Exactly. Sub-Sahara, they treat Africans and Blacks and colored folks in America as foreigners in America. The West did not want Africa to have power only on one condition, that is according to what they want. That's the problem. I don't know, like, I have no idea what to do about the whole resources being stolen and people not really being paid their fair wage. Like, the issue to me is not selling the resources. Like, you need to make money, right? But the issue is not selling it for a fair price and then being too afraid to go to the table to demand a fair price. Because think about it, a resource like coltan, a resource like cobalt, you know, the mineral that is used to make our laptops, our cell phones, and all of that. Why are people not being paid properly for that? They're literally kids that go to these mines. They don't even have shoes. And I'm not saying that in a Western perspective. They literally do not have shoes. They don't own shoes. They're being paid next to nothing. And it's like, it's just not fair. Sorry about that. Okay, my bad. Sorry about that. This person's gonna keep calling me. So annoying. Okay. All right. Colonization and slavery have never ended. Exactly. We are still fighting for our total independence and sovereignty in the 21st century. Entryism is by strategy in which way? So, would you say that there's a hope to get past this? Because I don't know, I'm starting to think that a lot of us have just given up. Like, we know that we need to be treated better. We know that our deals are not fair, but like, did we get tricked into signing these deals, or did we just sign them because we thought it would be best to not be on their bad side, right? Because if you look at certain nations who actually stood up and demanded more, well, back in the days, these people would literally go to war with them just to get their way. So, was it a matter of submission and we just inherited this submission? Like, we just inherited these bad deals and there's just nothing that can be done about it? I don't know. I really have no idea. Because I'm sitting here talking about it, but it's like, I'm not in politics, I'm not in government. I don't really know what's going on in the background. Like, how do I know that these deals that I'm talking about that are so bad were not? Because, okay, I know contracts can be broken. I know contracts can be terminated. But in the grand scheme of things, like, if I told you I'm only giving you $2 for something that's worth $20, and you say, okay, now, like 100 years later, and you're like, wait, this deal isn't good anymore. I don't like it. It's like, how do you go about that? Like, how do you actually go about terminating that existing contract or deal in a fair manner? Like, is that even possible? What do you guys think? What countries are backed by gold nowadays? My answer is little to none. Uh, Good question. I have no idea. I have no idea. I know no African countries are backed by gold, but other than that, I really don't know. The Central African Republic has made Bitcoin a national currency. Not sure about it being a hype. Yeah, I mean, I still do think Bitcoin is a bit of a hype, only because it's so volatile and there really is no control over it. Like, Bitcoin stocks are plummeting as we speak, and that doesn't mean that the stocks aren't going to go back up, but it's like, yeah, I'm not too sure about Bitcoin. I'm not too sure. Not saying people shouldn't invest into Bitcoin, but that whole, oh, just put everything into Bitcoin mentality, like, that's not going to save anybody. Who became a millionaire only investing into Bitcoin? Who became a billionaire only investing into Bitcoin? They got wheat fertilizers, petrol, and heat. Russia is cool. Yeah, no, Russia's fine. Like, I actually like Russia. I'm not even mad at Russia. Like, shout outs to Russia. Like, Russia, I mean, they're not my best friends or whatever, but I think Russia is a very honorable nation. I really do think. And a lot of those Europeans make fun of the Eastern Europeans, but a lot of the Eastern Europeans, their morals seem to be a bit better than the Western Europeans. So shout outs to Eastern Europe for minding your own business. France stole gold from francophone African countries. Oh, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. I think we need to take our cut and do something back instead of watching this looting. Like what? Invade invade Paris and the UK? Corrupt African leaders sell it and their countries out for peanuts. What else is new? But yeah, I think I got to the crevice of what I wanted to say in the stream. So if anyone wants to hop on, go ahead and hop on. We're not gonna be here for too long today, I promise. I actually want to do something tonight. Corrupt African leader. Okay, I already read that. Africa should push only one generation to work. After that, Africa will be rich. When they offer 100 million, ask for 2.5 billion. Is it hard? Yeah, it's really sad the amount of money that comes out of the continent versus the money that's put into the continent is not even measurable. Like, yeah, people will be like, oh, IMF loans and all of this stuff, World Bank, but those loans really don't amount to anything that's being taken out of the continent. Like, okay, you're giving me a $2 billion loan, but you're literally stealing $60 billion worth of resources from my economy. Like, that's not even it. That's not even help. You know what I mean? That's true. That's true. That's very true. Okay, DEO, happy that you joined the stream. However, I'm not too sure who you are. So, do you mind putting your camera on in the background so that I know? And then you could turn it off once you're in on the stream. Oh, okay. They clicked off. All right, Africa is being snatched by the West. It's easy doing it the divestment route. The reparations was a joke. Yeah, hold on, let me check how much Namibia got for the reparations. So Germany paid 1.1 billion euros over historical Hironama genocide. I mean, yeah, that's really nothing, really. 940. Oh, okay, so 940 million pounds. So that's what they got for the genocide. Yeah. I mean, I know that's peanuts, but that is a start. I mean, that's something. I don't know, whatever. So Kill Pill is here. I'm gonna go ahead and add him to the stream. Thanks for calling.
Hey, how you doing?
Not bad. How are you?
Pretty good. You know, you just did something, and it's something we got to stop doing. And when I say we, I'm not separating American black from black anywhere else, but the way we are looking at crypto, mainly Bitcoin and Ethereum, for me to be able to take $250 and turn it into $30,000, and it's been as high as $69,000. Okay, Bitcoin. That is life-changing wealth, depending on how many you own. And I'm not from Africa or the Caribbean, but I will say this: if I had people over there and they were struggling, like let's say I had a sister and a brother that was there, I would be sending them money every month to help them out, of course, like, you know, most of you guys do. But I would also create a Bitcoin wallet and Ethereum wallet for them. And I would just put in maybe $10 a month over long periods of time and just let it sit there. And I think people would be able to alter a family member's life over there with those consistent investments over long periods of time. You understand, Bitcoin came out in 2008, and it's the most explosive investment that the planet has ever known. No asset has ever grown as much as Bitcoin. It grows 150 to 200% a year historically. Okay, so it's a lot of things that are not factual that are said about cryptos, but it wouldn't even be we wouldn't even have a discussion about it if it wasn't a thing. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to ask some clarification, and I think the African countries that added Bitcoin are actually on to something. You know, so that's my piece, but I just wanted to make sure that we get some clarification.
Okay, I don't remember what country it was, but someone said in the comment section that they've completely gone to Bitcoin.
It's Congo. And
Yeah.
Congo, El Salvador, you know. And look, you got people out here estimating that a Bitcoin will be worth $1 million to $10 million in about 20 years. So imagine if you're a kid who was playing around on the computer and got a free Bitcoin just doing something 10 years ago, because they was giving them away years ago. And it's just sitting there. And you wake up one day and now you're like 40 years old into the future, and that Bitcoin is worth $2 million, $1 million, whatever it's worth. That's what we call, you know, that's leaving a legacy. That's real money, you know. And all I have to do is take the Bitcoin and convert it into whatever fiat. If I'm in the U.S., I'm going to turn it to U.S. dollars. If I'm in Europe, I'll turn it into the euro or the pound or whatever they're using. So it's real money. That's how most of the people were moving their wealth around in the Ukraine when they left. They were moving it through a computer to another wallet based somewhere else. So when they got to these countries, they had wealth waiting for them, ready to use. And that's the best thing about crypto, because I can't get out of America with more than $10,000 in my pocket without breaking the law. But if something broke out in the Congo and I had some money on a wallet, then I'm good. I don't have to have it on me. I can just go somewhere else and tap my wallet wherever I'm at and start living my life over there. You can't rob me for it. You can't do anything because you don't know I have it. So, like I said, I'm hoping I'm adding a little bit of clarity, because I do believe that crypto is going to transform Africa, mainly Nigeria, Kenya, and South Africa are poised to really benefit from it. Ghana as well. But I also believe you'll have pockets of places in Africa where people become millionaires out of nowhere. It'll seem like it came out of nowhere, but you got young kids over there taking advantage of the technology, and they're storing as many of these coins as they can. And they're just going to show up one day and have a bunch of wealth and nobody know where it came from. So.
Okay, so there's a question here. What if the country you're in doesn't have a Bitcoin infrastructure?
these are why they have exchanges and different things. Countries that are not set up for it, you can generally access an exchange on a site. And from the site, what you do is it's basically out of touch. Like if your government is not set up with a firm banking structure or whatever, where you can go somewhere where they have those things in place, and then you can move your wallet or your Bitcoin into a area where it's feasible for you to pull your funds out. So if one country is not stable, but the country next door to you is, you just go on over there and do your business. Bitcoin is classified as property, digital property, and it's only 21 million of them that will ever be mined. So it's a scarce property, digital property. And so you see Bitcoin usually leads the market, but there are other coins, Ethereum, you got a Cardano, you have some other coins. And the longer people accumulate these things, because most of these companies are already worth billions of dollars, and they're only going to get bigger because they're the future. And to hear young people talk about crypto the way they do is almost disturbing, because I'm a man that's late 40s, and I understand the importance of it. And I've poured thousands and thousands of hours into studying cryptocurrency. But I'm happy at the fact that a lot of Africans are really, really getting behind crypto and have made vast fortunes. This is why they project Nigeria to be a superpower, because they have invested into the technology. And these people can tell that that's where a large portion of the people are headed. They can see their crypto wealth literally growing. People don't just show up with money out of nowhere. They know it's coming from somewhere, but they can't quite pin down who and what it is. Not everybody is scamming. Some people are using their brains.
So you're suggesting that African governments should have more, like they should actually invest into Bitcoin avenues?
I think it would be wise to have a portion of the country's wealth, a sovereign fund or something dedicated to Bitcoin. I'll give you a fact. The largest holder of any U.S. department in this country, in the United States, is the FBI. They hold more Bitcoin than any department or any government branch in this country. So even the U.S. government owns a large portion of Bitcoin, because they understand that regardless of what happens, they're not going to allow themselves to be shut out of any potential money making. So they're going to own gold. They're going to own regular cash. They're going to own Bitcoin. They're going to own other resources. That's just what it is about diversifying. So, like I say, I'm bullish on Africa in the future with cryptocurrency, because there's a lot of people over there that truly do understand the technology. You should probably search some. A lot of them on the internet. I can't name anybody offhand, but I have come across some of those channels. Maybe you want to bring them on here one day to talk to them if you seek them out. But I tell you, it'd be the greatest thing you do for somebody. If I had a young 5 or 6 year old sister in another country, I certainly would get me a ledger, a wallet, and put $100, $200 on it, and just let it sit for the next 15, 20 years, to make sure that they had us a pretty good, solid future.
Right.
But let's say it don't work out. Let's say I put $100 on there and it just becomes nothing. Well, it's just $100. It don't cost me nothing. And I'm not sounding like a big shot or nothing. Like, that's not what I'm saying. But in this economy, $100 is like what $20 or $30 was 10, 15 years ago. It's not a lot of money. So, you know, but that's how I've always viewed my investing. You know, well, what do? Do I go buy a new pair of Michael Jordan shoes and make somebody else wealthy, or do I take this $250 and invest it on myself and my future? And it's always paid off for me 9 out of 10 times. So,
Right.
you know.
What do you guys in the comment section have to say about this? Also, Kaiser joined the panel. Did you have anything to add?
Salam alaikum wa barakatuh, sister. Can you hear me well?
Yep.
Salam alaikum. I think my internet is slow. Let me come back. Okay, yeah, I think it's going to be a little bit faster now. So yeah, hey guys, my name is Kaiser. Thank you for having me here, African Millennial. May the great God, Kaizoria, bless you and increase you in all your ways and make you more successful in everything that you do in life. Sorry about the echo, guys. I think it's a good move, but I hope they're not paying the government of Namibia because, you know, there's also white Namibians who live in that country. I specifically want them to pay the people, the Herero people out there. That would actually make more sense. Now, it doesn't, you know, cleanse what they did, right? Obviously, it doesn't. This is more just a sign of gesture saying, we're sorry, we can't take back what we've done, but here's a little small gift. You know, it's not buying them out, it's just a gift of acknowledgement. And, you know, I believe it can help the Herero people. If the Herero people, let's say, use it for educational purposes, focusing on things that can help them with skills or building a trade that's going to really help them move to the next level, I think that's the way forward. Because, yeah, the money's not a lot, obviously.
It's not.
But
it's literally.
That's not.
I'm sorry. Like, they couldn't give more billions. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
anyway,
you know, I think it's not enough, obviously. But what they could do, you know, just by being smart, is use it for education and skills to help them. You know, because you know, there's no money that's enough to to pay for what happened, especially with what Germany did, and you know, Belgium. At least Germany's acknowledging it. Belgian government still isn't really acknowledging what they did in Congo properly. You know, so I think it's a step forward. And I think all it takes now is for the Herero people to heal and train themselves.
Also, another question. What's your thoughts in African governments investing into the like having more Bitcoin reserves? Like, how do you feel about that?
You know, I actually think African governments should just simply get reserves of gold. Now, Bitcoin is all good and everything. The issue with Bitcoin is it hasn't stood the test of time. Bitcoin is new and it's not newer than 2002 or something. So to put something in an untested principle is going to be risky. I do think there's other stuff outside of Bitcoin that is useful and can be used for money transfer, things like BitGut. The other kind of cryptocurrencies that are going to be useful, so their value should increase based on their use. Bitcoin is not really useful. It's more like a gold reserve. So I would really just say African governments should go ahead and do basically money keeping in the form of gold. Gold is tested.
So they
gold
should
is gone up.
buy gold reserves?
Well, what they could do is they could go and invest in mines in Congo, Ghana, and other places and start mining them for their own reserve, not for trading and not for selling out. Because if you notice, we've sold a lot of our gold, or the Westerners have taken it. It doesn't really matter. It's no longer within our grasp. And a country like Libya had a lot of gold, but then the Westerners took it after Gaddafi was removed. So they just basically looted it, right? So I think what we need to do is get gold. Gold has stood the test of time. Gold is even useful. You can use it in semiconductors. it's a very good conductor, and things like that. So gold it's not just like Bitcoin is not useful. It's a theoretical currency. I do trade in those things, cryptos, but I say get gold. Gold is the tested thing across all time, and I don't think it's going to get low price anywhere anytime soon. The only time gold can reduce in price is if we figure out how to make gold using nuclear technology, and we can do that, but it takes too much energy. So the value of the gold we make from nuclear technology is going to be way more expensive than the gold you can mine. So yeah, I say gold. That's what I would say. And African countries, you think of it this way. Let me give you an example. One thing that we face in African economy is loss of value. The Kenyan shilling in 5 years ago used to be 106 Kenyan shillings to $1. Right now it's about 115 Kenyan shillings to $1. Okay, it's not increased by a significant amount, but that 6% or so increase has meant that people saving their money in Kenyan shillings have lost 6% of their money. So if someone had like $100,000, they legit lost $6,000. In Ethiopian currency, it's even worse. When you talk about the bid in 5 years ago has doubled in inflation, meaning your money is basically half as valued as it was back then. So you've actually lost a significant amount about your money if you stored your money in bid. So that's just the kind of issues, because you see when inflation increases, so let's say the value of a currency decreases, what happens is its ability to buy and purchase goods outside of the country is going to be much weaker. So that's why it's a significant problem. So I say, hey, let's fix this hyperinflation that a lot of our currencies face by backing our currencies to gold. That's what I would say. If we had simply backed even the UK money, they'll tell you it's not really backed on gold and it's backed to some service-based economy. But no, UK government, the Scottish Bank, Scotland Bank, whatever it's called, has a significant amount of gold. The currency is backed by gold. That's what we don't understand. We just believe these stories that basically go around claiming that, oh no, it's a service-based economy. We need to stop following the white man. The white man left gold behind because he didn't have enough of it. You see, yet they actually the smart white man, like the Americans and the UK and other countries that have it, they still maintain it. So now that's the issue that I would say, hey, let's get gold, and not just gold. One more comment. This is now more specifically to the East African Federation and East African community over there in Kenya, Uganda, and the rest of these dusty countries, is Congo. We now have Congo. And the good thing about Kenya is we've been protecting Congo from the Rwandese and Ugandans who have been ravaging their resources. So Congolese people trust us. So now we can loot Congo. That's a joke. So that we can now work with Congo. And if East Africa is smart with the new currency that they should have, we can back it to the resources in Congo. There is an abundant resource of radium. There is cobalt, coltan. There is gold, and even things like that. So if we back these currencies in Africa, let's say East Africa specifically, to things which are being utilized and are rare earth minerals, hey, there's no way we can fail. The issue is backing it through the dollar or other things that we keep doing, where we're always going to kind of be playing the catch-up game. I don't think that works, and it won't work.
You can't link your currency to somebody else's currency, and they control it wholly. That's the issue, as I see it, because as I understand, now economics is not my forte. I do numbers as my job, but I don't do economics. Basically, how the U.S. puts it, if the money, the U.S. dollar is backed by itself, which is backed by the U.S. military. So you trade in your own currency. That's to say, you lend your own currency. You charge all your interest in your own currency. You really can't go broke in the U.S. necessarily, because everybody's paying you and you still making hand over fist, money over money. Now, other countries, you can't do that. That's why they killed Gaddafi. Gaddafi said, facts literally. It was like, all right, we going to the gold standard. They bombed that man in the week. I remember, I think I was like 20, 22, 24. I don't know, he's 24, 25. I can't remember. When I think that happened, and I looked up, he said 1 month, we're going to the gold standard. By the end of that month, he was dead. By the end of that month, he was dead. So when you understand that, it's really not about that. It's really about developing your nation necessarily and have your own currency you have your own central bank to necessarily set the price for your currency that you're going to be selling or trading with. Because if you do not set the currency, if you do not have your own central bank, you really don't control your money. Because that's when you look at most of the francophone countries, all of their currency, like their central bank is in France. That's stupid.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you, brother. What I was about to say is, can you guys listen to me?
Say it again.
Hello? Yeah. Thank you. What I was about to say is, we talk of the black man, we talk of empowerment, we talk of development, we talk of improvement, we talk of, all of us come together in order to improve on our situation. But we don't got black men, bro. We don't. A man is someone who's supposed to create things, not look for a job, create things in order to solve the problem their own race is facing. I am a Gaviard. I'm a Gaviard, Marcus Garvey. Based on us Gaviard, the way we think is, you as a race of people, you got to be able to solve your problem. You got to be able to do things that you know you need. You're supposed to be able to solve all the problems, that you guys are facing in such a way that you don't need to ask any other race of people to help you in any other thing. Just like the Chinese people today. America cannot sanction China because America is like a consuming country that the Chinese people had to supply some of their consumption here in America. That's factual. America cannot sanction China because China have all those technological means to solve their problem. They don't depend on America. We African people, we don't need to depend on anybody. The solution of our problem, Marcus Garvey said it for it. Show me a race of people without power and authority. I will show you one without respect. Power is as a result of you have to be able to solve your problem by yourself without depending on any other race of people. We as African people, we got to do the same like that in order for us to improve. We did this thousands of years ago, before the white man even understood what fire was all about. We melt iron for about 35,000 years before the white man even discovered fire. We melt iron for 35,000 years before the white man even discovered what fire was all about. So some of the time when I listen, I'm like, damn, these people got jet. You have to remember one thing. These are people who solve their problem through guns and iron. These people solve their problem through wars. You can see what is happening over there in Ukraine. You can see, I cannot even explain so much of it. What they call 1940 or First World War or 1939 or Second World War. Those are not First World or Second World War. Black men, Black women, we need to come together, put our beef aside based on what we inherit from our slave and colonial master and solve our problems in order to improve our society. Marcus Garvey said, as Africa goes, so goes you. As simple as that. We got all the resources in that continent. Why can't we use our mind to exploit it? Do you know how many people that Garvey trained that they kill in that continent? They kill Amilcar Cabral, they kill Patrice Emery Lumumba, they kill Robert Mangaluso Sebukwe, they kill Steve Biko, they imprison Nelson Mandela, they kill Chris Ani, they overthrow Kwame Nkrumah, they kill Amilcar Cabral, they kill Felix Mumie, they kill Ernest Nwandi.
We're not making a diatribe. I want you to finish, but can we not go on for like 40 minutes? Because it's
what I'm trying to tell you is we Black men need to build power, the power of creativity. We have to create stuff that we have to use to be able to solve our problem.
Like in this case, what do you?
Okay. Let me land. Like some of the things, like what? If we want internet, we create our internet. If we want cell phone, we create our own cell phone. If we want jet plane, we create our jet plane. If we want warship, we create our warship. If we want bullet guns, bombs, nukes, and the rest, we create it. If we want food, we create our own food. We don't need to depend on any other person to solve our own problem. If we are sick, we create our own medication. That's simple as that.
All right, now I want this. I understand. This is what I deal with this a lot. In my own community, it's the fiery national, and I understand the fiery national understanding and a way of being. The reality is, all these things that you said are built on systems, right? If you want, quote unquote, more engineers, you have to set up a system where you get these boys or you get these people. I'm gonna say boys. I'm gonna be honest. Let's do that. Who really gonna do most of the work? You have to get a system where you train these boys at a certain age necessarily to be what they need to be, right? If you don't have the system to cultivate these people, you're not going to have them, right? Because what do most African dudes who are very educated, where do they go?
Exactly, you're correct. You're correct. You're correct. You
Okay.
what you say, you're
Right,
correct.
right,
So
right,
which
right,
means,
right.
hold on.
I'm not finished,
Let me
not
just say it.
finished.
Let me say
finished.
something.
I'm
Let me
not
just
finished.
say
I
something.
was talking, but not finished. I was talking, not finished. Right.
Okay.
So if you
I would
don't,
like to conclude.
when I go to these countries, I don't see the school system set up for that.
Beautiful.
I don't see, and I do not see. Like I said, first thing is, if you do not have control of your currency, you don't have control of anything.
It's true. Perfect.
So if you do not have control of your currency, that's the first step, and that's the main step. When all the European nations, what they tell you, they don't give a damn what you do in there. Long as they have control of your currency, it does not matter what you do. That's it.
Brother. I want you to understand. The issue is we cannot understand ourselves if we one another don't know of our history. That's just the issue. You see that continent over there? We don't own it. Those of people that Marcus Garvey trained and put in that continent, all of them were killed. All of them were killed. All those governments you see over there in that continent, they are puppets. I can name it to you. I can even give a link and a receipt to you that you can see it. Those are puppet government over there. Some of us Gavian, we see it, we'll be like, wow, why can't you guys in this part of the world can see it for real? Like, I can't really understand for real. You know what? You know what is going to happen in that continent? Let me just be frank with you. You know what is going to happen in that continent? 4th of July, 1776 is going to happen on that continent. Whether I like it or not, it's going to be that way. Because some
I don't
of us
know what
now,
that means. I'm sorry. So
you don't know 4th of July, you don't know 1776, right?
1776.
Yes. Just like what happened in America, the white man killed himself in this part of the world like dogs to get this part of the world. That's exactly what we will do in that continent. The white man killed himself in this part of the world like dogs. Just like in 1939, they killed themselves. They called it Second World War. They are dogs. They killed themselves like craziness. Like in 1914, the devil killed himself. That's what is going to happen in that continent. Because
do you think
we see that majority of the people in that part of the world that think like they're Caucasian. That is what is happening.
So are you saying that we're supposed to think like the Caucasian?
No, not like we're supposed to think. We are thinking. What kind of dialect am I explaining to you right now? Can I speak to you to my own language? This is a dialect I'm talking to you. Can I speak to you to my language? Can you understand my language?
No.
Exactly, you can. So I'm talking to you to a dialect of which that's the only way I can express myself to you. And remember, language and handwritten, it is the most powerful science ever developed by man. These people said it. Civilization began in Africa. I cannot understand it. That's why when my brother Ifatunde Tade Ogun here in America, when Ifatunde speaks sometimes, I'm like, do you guys listen to this man for real? Do you listen to Umar Johnson for real? Can't you listen to some of the things that this man is saying? Or Marcus Garvey? Why can't you see it this way? Some of us have to die in order to get that continent. The white man will not give us that rich land for like easily like that. They will not do it. They will not. I know he got some kind of downfall and stuff like that. Some of you may see it that way. But I love my race, bro. My race, my religion, my own religion is my race. I don't have my race is my religion. Right. I want my black woman, my black man. Let us come together. If we have beef, put our beef aside. Let us get back our continent and move forward first.
All right. So 2 questions for you. Number 1, how did you feel about Red Kill saying that African governments should invest into Bitcoin? And number 2, what do you think should be happening with the gold standard? Like that African countries are selling their gold for free. What do you think African
I would like to go after him after
that?
Thank you. Let me explain. Bitcoin is something that African government is not power in terms of technology, so they don't have any right to even think about that. Then secondly, it's even what gold. Gold is not currency. Gold is guard money. Gold is not currency. Gold is guard money. If I have gold right now because I'm in Texas here in America, yeah, I moved from so-called Cameroon to Texas, right? I'm in Dallas. So I understand because I was raised in that area where there was abundant amount of resources. Gold is God money. I can use gold to buy anything anywhere on earth, so long it is gold for factual. So you cannot duplicate that. You can't replace that. You cannot fabricate that. You cannot counterfeit it. Gold is gold. But this what they call, this Bitcoin is like fake currency. We don't need all of issues like that. Look at Ghana. You talk of Ghana. Ghana was at one point in history the most highest land on earth that has gold. Until the British call it what? The British government call it Gold Coast. It was Osagie for Kwame Nkrumah on March 6, 1957. He changed that name. He said, this is no longer Gold Coast. This is Ghana. This is no longer Gold Coast. This is Ghana. And when Osagie for Kwame Nkrumah said that on March 6, 1957, midnight, and that is what it is right up to this day. So if we can have gold, we exchange it with a paper currency. It's a currency called dollar. It means we don't even know what we are doing. We are not forward, we are moving backward with the speed of light. That's all I can say.
Basically, and I also wanted to say the same thing. When you come to these currencies, with these big currencies and whatnot, the question is, I can set up my own currency right now and call it hot dog water currency. And literally, if I can get you, no, I'm big on dollars. If I can get 2 nines to give me $2 million, if I can get AM to give me some more dollars, if I can get Kaiser, I can't see your name, my glasses ain't on. If I can get all y'all to give me $2 million necessarily, oh yeah, my hot dog water coin is gonna be popping in the streets, as they say. The reality is, when it comes to currency, it is who is backing it. So from my understanding correctly to this day, the only reason Bitcoin is this profitable is because it was backed by China. So when you quote unquote backed by China, that means you get backed by the China government and a Chinese economy. That's the grand difference between any of these other coins and just necessarily Bitcoin. If Bitcoin wasn't backed by anything necessarily, or a big nation, or like you said, the U.S. also has Bitcoin. That means the U.S. nation is backing Bitcoin. That means it's putting support and financial power behind that necessarily. The thing is, with these African countries, they don't even have control of your own currency. So how you want to invest in another currency? You don't even have control of your own currency. You don't have control of that. They barely have control of your own population, God, honestly. But that's almost a conversation for another day. But currently, African nations need to be doing two things: developing their industry, keeping it. I would say they need a central bank. If you don't even, because if you look up what is the central bank for South Africa, you can't even find a person who own that. I promise you, look for them. If you go Google the name for
brother.
Yeah, you can't find it. You physically can't find it. You can't find it.
It's true, and there's a reason for that. It's true. You're correct. There's a reason for that. All those government like Echolo over there, those are not our government, bro. Those that were trained by Marcus Garvey, they were all killed. Patrice Emery Lumumba of so-called Democratic Republic of Congo was killed. Thomas Isidore Sankara in 1984 was killed in Burkina Faso. Osagie for Kwame Nkrumah was overthrown in 1966 after W.E.B. Du Bois died in 1963. That he fought for real for Africa to unite. In 1963, Osagie for Kwame Nkrumah they held a conference. He was in the Casablanca group, and the others were in the Moroya group over there. They were divided because Osagie for Kwame Nkrumah was trying to tell them, hey, bro, today in this conference, we have to live today in this conference with one military, with one currency, with one government, with one language. That's what Kwame Nkrumah was saying. But you know, I understand what you're saying. You know, all these things that Kwame Nkrumah is saying, it didn't come from him. It came from you guys here in America and in the Jamaican. We have to live in this part of this conference with one language, one currency, one government, one people, one educational system. He told them, and Kwame Nkrumah even went further and said, if we cannot unite right now, there will be war. There will be war in this. Let me finish, bro. Let me finish. You respond. He said, if you cannot come together and unite in this continent right now in 1963, what is going to happen is there will be war in this continent and stuff like that. When Osagyefo for Kwame Nkrumah, he was overthrown in 1966 by CIA government in America and stuff like that. He went to Guinea-Conakry. He met Ahmed Sekou Touré over there. That both of them became like some kind of president over there, tried to grow that part of the world. But when he died in 1972, the Ghanaian government was very ashamed. They brought him back to Ghana in 1972. So when he passed away, they brought him back to Ghana. Then people who stood against him, like Julius Nyerere and Yufe Boani of Ivory Coast, especially Julius Nyerere, started to speak like Osagyefo for Kwame Nkrumah. That it's like he is correct. We got to unite. That is why you see they have what they call the language over there in East Africa.
Swahili.
Yes, thank you for that reminder. Yeah, Kiswahili or those issues. Of which that Kiswahili, there is a question in that language. There is a serious question in that language. Because based on myself, Kiswahili, well, we got to talk about that because I know it was developed by a slave in order for their slave master to understand the word to speak so that they can express one another for real. Yeah, so I cannot allow any language that had to deal with the slave and colonial master. I'm not a slave. I am an African. I'm an African. That's who I am. I'm not a slave. So I don't want anything related to the so-called white man or the Arab or none of that bullshit. I want my own, as simple as that.
Yeah, so we're gonna go ahead to Niger before we have anyone respond.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Sorry for being late and all. I didn't know about Kwame Nkrumah going to Guinea-Conakry to help run the country till his passing. That's very interesting. There's a lot of things I don't know about Pan-Africanism. So it tells you everything that you need to know. That I wish Marcus Garvey trained more people. This is one thing maybe we should learn from that, so that when they take one out, there's always more to take over.
Exactly.
There's always more. By the time they will just give up in that direction. It's a very difficult thing because we've made a lot of mistakes in the past. This is one of the topics I want to discuss today because there is a window right now, and I believe that we shouldn't. We should learn from the past. There are things we got right. That there are big things we got wrong. I think, like Kwame Nkrumah, some of the things he did that probably made it easier for him to be taken out was he didn't include people with he doesn't drag people, not just the elites, the people along with him. Because some of the things he was saying, as great as they were, if you bring people in and they feel like they buy into it, it will be rubbish to get rid of him, because when you get rid of him, people will still want what they want, and then they will have to whoever comes in has to do what Kwame Nkrumah wants. So I think that is where he may have made a mistake. And from the point of view of Nigeria, I think if Nigeria has backed Nkrumah, maybe Africa will be different today.
Thank you. Thanks for the acknowledgement.
Yeah, maybe Africa will be different today. The group that Africa belonged to was on the other side, and all they need is a few more, then they will cause problems. So, and that's the thing about the Nigerian situation, because the North didn't want to didn't want independence in the first place. They didn't feel they were ready. So you can see that those kind of people, they will feel like they will want to listen to what the colonial powers are saying more than the ones from the South. So because the Southerners want to make sure that they are on the right side of the colonial powers, they too had to toe the line, because if they don't, then the colonial people will just go and use the North against them, which eventually happened, but it didn't work. Whatever they tried to do then, it didn't work, and now it sabotaged the whole continent. What are we going to learn from all that?
Yeah. So
what do we learn from that?
So there are two questions that previous panelists answered, but I would like you to answer as well. What do you think African countries should do in regards to this gold that they're not making any money from, but most of it comes from Africa? And also, do you think that African countries should invest into Bitcoin funds? Should that be something that actual governments take seriously in? There was a panelist who advocated for that, and some people are with it, some people are not. How do you feel about that?
If the Bitcoin you create is your own, like the way the Nigeria created their own.
Wait, Nigeria created its own Bitcoin?
Yeah, they created their own crypto. This is cryptocurrency. You didn't know that that's their own e-naira. They call it e-naira.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the only country. It is the second country that did that in the world or something. So if you created your own, yes, fine. But if you go and sign up for Bitcoin, that is extremely dangerous game to play. Something you don't know who is backing it and where it's coming from. Any moment they could pull the rug out and a lot of funds will disappear into thin air. At least gold does has residual this in value. That's the advantage of having gold. See, our gold means nothing right now because they can print money. They can just print money over it. If they give it to us, it means something. But they got it, and they can give money. They will always want to give money to it because they know gold does have a residual value. Even if the money backing it disappears, gold is still valuable. So that is the magic this thing of gold. But the point is, why are we not having it? Because they have the money to give us for the gold, and they will take the gold away. That is what they are doing, and it's really a shame because the money is basically printed paper. It's nothing.
No. It is printed paper. No, don't say it is printed paper. It is printed paper.
We literally give them our resources for just fairy money that they print. And I think we need to start understanding what real value is, or when we are giving our own power away to some other group just because they are more powerful than us. That's the only reason why we give them the gold, because they tell us, oh, this is the currency we are going to give you. And they give us a pittance and we give them our resources, and that resources will endure. It will endure. The currency may disappear, but the resources will remain. And this is why they are buying the gold, even though they don't even need it. They don't even need it because they already have us hooked on their dollars, and as long as you are buying into their dollar or whatever currency the Chinese and the Russians decide to introduce, you're always in a vulnerable situation. I don't know how Africans are going to wrest themselves out of it, because the last time they tried to do it, just how many years ago, I just was completely flabbergasted how easily the French ran circles around them. And it wasn't even a major headline. There was no earthquake on the continent. Like, a currency was supposed to be adopted by West Africa, and it was just hijacked in the last minute, and that was it. Case closed. All the leaders just went home like, nothing happened here. Nothing to see. Let's forget about it. That is crazy.
It's not crazy.
It's like the UK wants to leave the EU, then within a couple of days, the whole trajectory just changed. And there is in the UK, if that kind of stuff happens, there will be an earthquake, because that's a massive political change. Because the currencies were due to change, and nobody cared when he went away. I think it's a very, very significant thing, and that's maybe because they are so detached from the people, and even the elites, the educated people that should know some of all this thing, they're just like, we are used to it. Whatever we dream up, it can just disappear like that. You see why I'm really, really paranoid about security, because everything you dream up can just vanish. Like nothing. Like it's nothing. Like puff, it's gone. Anything you dream up without having any backing for it, forget it. It just goes away again. And in my mind, if we want to start learning lessons from all this, even recent event, not even going too far back in history, it just tells you that if you want to do something, you don't, okay, let's put it this way, you don't even have to have a massive military. But whatever you have to have, it has to be extremely strong and resilient to survive all these forces. And it has to be completely ruthless, because I've seen it happen before. I've seen the Zionist movement. They were extremely ruthless to get where they got to today. As a matter of fact, today they are still being ruthless. They killed a journalist just how many days ago. This is what they don't back down. And you see, when these people are doing these things, people, when we see them today, I used to be one of those people. questioning them. Why are you people so wicked? Why, you know? Because that's the mindset they've got now. They've been traumatized for so long that once they got their own this territory now, they're now overboard. They don't care whether you're innocent or not. If you just threaten them a little bit, you're going to have a problem.
Right. All right. So before we
And that's how we need to be.
Yeah, so before we do move forward, there are some questions, but before I ask those questions, want to give a shout out to King Genocide, Classic Dialogues, never seen you before, how you doing? Site 5, how you doing? Bofelo, I don't know if I greeted you, but if I haven't, hi. Thanks for being here. Icon Fire, and who else? No, there were some other people. Oh yeah, by the way, Kaizori is in here. He's also live, so you guys can.
That guy is like a ghost. He's everywhere at the same time. You know, I was in this panel too, but yeah, I thought I should come over here because I wanted to have a chat about this topic.
And yes,
so
Nigel's also going to be going live in about like 50 minutes or actually like 30 minutes or something. So I'll end the panel then. Yeah, because I really didn't want to be here for that long anyways today. So anyways, shout out to Simon, UG, how you doing? CryptoWatt, Lazulu, and yeah, to anyone else who came in here, shout out to you guys. Dustin Cole, long time no see. Oh, Artifact of War also has a channel if anyone's wondering. You guys can also subscribe. He's saying that he's gonna be going live more often. Yes, Tunija has a channel, okay, and his channel name is called Tunija, so I'm pretty sure you can easily search that.
Totally without imagination.
And yes, Artifact of War also has a channel, so you guys can definitely go ahead and subscribe.
Yeah.
And
Can I say something? What I want to, what I just want to say is, you have to understand one thing. Those who came before us, people like Odumegwu, Chukwu Emeka Ojukwu. If you look at the flag of Biafra, Chukwu Emeka Ojukwu took that flag from David. That flag, the only difference is he put a sun, the rising sun, on that flag, because Biafra is in the east of Nigeria, and the east, that is where the sun rises. But the color, the red, black, and green, came from Garvey. Garvey came out with that flag in 1920 in Madison Square, that he got up to 95,000, I beg your pardon, of Africans all over the world who came and had to subscribe in order for that color of red, black, and green of that flag to be nominated in order for Africa to be free. They all took an oath. All of them took an oath that the red, black, and green is supposed to be the flag that is going to represent all African people on earth. We got to understand one thing for sure, bro. Sister, we got to understand one thing. In order for us to be free away from this yoke of bondage, of slavery and colonization, because most of us are still slaves. We are not free, most of us. We have to understand one thing. We have to be able to solve our own problem. Garvey said what? If you cannot do what other nations have done, if you cannot do what other men have done, if you cannot do what other race of people have done, then you deserve to die. I don't understand why the white man can manufacture a jet plane. A black man cannot do it. I don't understand why a white
because
man
a black man has a low IQ.
No, what did you say?
That is why, brother. Not so difficult. Your IQ is smaller than a peanut.
You want to say my IQ as a black man is smaller? Is that what you're saying?
He's fucking with you, but
please don't joke about that.
Dr. K has made this IQ thing instead. It's going to be hard for you to run for any office in Africa, you know.
Yeah, please hold on. So according to, you feel like IQ is something that is real? Let me say this to you in terms of historical concept that I can prove it. From Africa, I melt iron. Let me say this: I melt iron in Africa for 3,500 years before the so-called white man even understand what fire was all about. I melt iron in Africa before the white man had to understand what fire was all about. Don't tell me that garbage. I know myself for
We
real.
understand that, man. We
Yeah,
understand
so we got to come together and do it for you, my brother. We don't have
There's
time.
no African country even with a steel mind that works, brother.
Exactly. No. Listen, it is not an African country. Do you know what regime change is? Those people are regime change. You want me to name it to you? Paul Kagame.
He is
Hold on.
trolling you at the highest
Let me
level.
give you
I
a
don't
brief
think
history.
you
Let me give you.
understand
Can I give you a brief history? Paul
No.
Kagame. No, let me say this. Paul Kagame from Rwanda. He was put in place by Bill Clinton in 1993. I can prove that to you straight up. He was trained over here in Georgia. I'm saying this. I'm in America. This CIA or FBI, they can arrest me, but I don't give a damn about that. He was raised over here in Georgia, in America, as a military personnel to carry out a regime change, to fight and take Rwanda over there. And just, according to them, he was the one that solved the Rwanda genocide over there in the continent. Despite the fact it was caused by the white people. They don't want to say that. Despite the fact it was caused by the French and the Catholic and the American white people. They don't want to say that. You have to remember one thing. Then this dude from Uganda that is fighting Bobby Wine from Rwanda, Museveni. He was put in place in 1986 by Ronald Reagan. I'm saying this because I have it in record right now. He was put in place by Ronald Reagan in 1986. Yeah, because back then there was a serious war that this dude Obote, the military of Obote had to take General Idi Amin out from power. Then Ronald Reagan had to support him to take General Idi Amin out from power because General Idi Amin didn't like the Jewish people. Then there was some kind of conflict and stuff like that. Then they took him out because they have the military might. Just like you have people like the whole of that continent is a regime change. Trust me, you don't have a government.
I mean, can you give us bullet points? I mean, we are. I think at this level, I think we kind of understand that as the collective. I think the group of people that's kind of here already understand it. So can you just give us bullet points? Then going down the entire history, unless people don't know. If we say we don't know, then I understand. But I mean, as in for the fact that we got people who got time and information that need to be gained and passed on, can we just give bullet points instead of a whole soliloquy about different situations? That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, which means I'm not rejecting to you, my brother. We have to understand that we got a problem in which we got to solve as fast as possible in order for us
to
live on Earth. Huh?
Do you know like what would be the steps in solving the problem?
I know some.
The problem is some of us, majority of us, we are still ignorant. Remember, ignorance leads to death, knowledge leads to freedom. You have to understand that. Ignorance leads to death, knowledge leads to freedom. So if you are ignorant, there is no way in which you can progress because you have self-hate in you. You will destroy yourself like my brother. If I think the same one, black people have been programmed for self-destruction. You have been programmed to destroy yourself and improve on people who doesn't love they don't love you. Why do you think the white man keep on thriving?
Mac and cheese.
Okay.
Mac and cheese. What is the solution you have?
Africa is not developing because we have been programmed for self-destruction.
I think he answered the question. The question he said is that a lot of people are
hearing
ignorant.
is African, Pan-African babble. I don't hear any points.
It's a Pan-African babble.
Mac and cheese. You said you know how to solve the problem or something.
Yeah, he said that to solve the problem is you have to make people non-ignorant. You have to let people know what's going on. So people don't know what's going on. So how do we let them know what's going on?
I'll say to solve the problem is Africans need to be subjugated.
Sorry,
I
need you to speak up, man. I need you to speak up, Captain.
Speak up.
Yeah. Sorry, 1 second. Yeah, I believe the answer is that the African has to be subjugated. He cannot be trusted to lead himself.
Okay, never mind. My bad, bro. I asked the question to the wrong person.
Wait,
let me explain. Let me explain.
Subjugated Wait, you're telling me we have to go through slavery again, bro?
No, not slavery. Subjugated by other Africans, by people like me. That's what I mean.
I agree with that.
Right. See, it's a lot better. So the point here is, the average African doesn't have the knowledge or self-understanding to remove his tribalistic mindset that leads him. The African is too bothered about whether he's a Somali or whether he's a Yoruba, or whether he's an Igbo and part of the Biafra, or whether it's a Hausa or Fulani. This is the issue that rails in Africa. Now, what that means is there needs to be a strong leadership that forces him to be disciplined, to beat the anti-African out of him. Now, what that means is you force them into a unity. And what that unity means is you force them to work together, and you have a private sector as well as government system structure that doesn't allow for selective tribal employment. That's one way you get rid of it. When I speak to Africans here, I spoke to a Kalenjin girl yesterday, and she was like, about corruption and, how people steal from your business. She said, it's better at least Munzako, which means your fellow man. In this case, your own tribesman steals from you, at least you benefited the tribe. This is how Pan-Africans say about it's better that an African scams you instead of the white man. The issue
Don't
is
call Pan-Africans. Don't do that, please.
The issue is Africans on the continent don't see themselves as African. They see themselves as a dusty tribe with 2 million people. No, there's no concept of Africa in Africa. It's a concept of tribal, inter-tribal conflict. It
was trained by the white man. They were trained by the white man.
No, that's not true. That's a big lie.
My dear, I know white, like the white guy or white.
No. This has nothing to do with the white man.
But I don't
African
think that we can blame everything on the white guy.
Listen, bro. Let me give you a simple example.
Willing accomplices.
Bro, the guy who said you. Okay. Nah. The thing here. Let's use logic here. A country in Africa that is almost homogeneously of the same tribe of Africa. Guess it's the poorest and most destructed country. So this idea that
I'm glad to say country. Yeah, I'm glad to say country, bro. I'm glad to say country. Was there any country in Africa before the white man came? Was there any country in Africa before the white man came?
Let me name the country. Ask the question. Let me ask the question.
Was there any country in Africa before the white man came?
Sudan was a country.
It was not
Egypt. Actually, Sudan was a country. It was part of Egypt.
It was not.
I
can prove it to you. I can give you historical.
You can prove it to me. There was a country called Sudan. Abyssinia.
No, it's not. It's not.
Again, I'm not going to ignore you. Abyssinia was a country, okay?
Not ignore. Prove it to me. I'll prove it to you that you're wrong. Prove it to me.
There was a kingdom of Abyssinia with a law and systems of structure and governance before the white man came.
You call it kingdom. That is not country. Kingdom.
What the hell's a country, bro? What's the difference between a country and a kingdom?
Why are we talking about what's a kingdom and a country?
What's the difference? Saudi Arabia is a kingdom. Are you trying to say Saudi Arabia is not a country? Again, let's use basic logic. Saudi Arabia is a kingdom. Is it not a country? United Kingdom is a kingdom. Is it not a country? Is this the IQ level of Africans? Lower than my.
You know what a kingdom is? Okay. Let me. You know what a kingdom is? Brother.
Can you stop interrupting him, man?
Brother, you explain. Let me just say something very short. I'm talking to my brother right now. A kingdom means sorry, go ahead. Excuse me, go ahead.
What's the difference between a kingdom and a country? Simple question.
Okay, let me answer. A kingdom means it has an external territory that is linked to that kingdom. That's what a kingdom is. A country means it's a sovereign. It means it has an external territory. That territory is linked to the country. That country is being called kingdom. In simple,
I don't understand what you're saying.
Kingdom means you are a kingdom, but you have external country.
That's the grand difference, bro. The grand difference between a country is the groups of people who have power in it, bro. In a kingdom, the king or the monarchy has power. In the country, the big business or the oligarchs in the government has power. That's why it's called a country. And that's just
no.
See, I disagree with that. What you're talking about is the republic. A republic is separate.
No.
A system of governance with its own laws. A kingdom is a country.
A kingdom expands to another country in order to get those people from the other country to be like their own subject. That's what a kingdom is.
Why are we going over this point? Like this point, this is a mute ass point. Why the fuck are we going over it?
It is. What you're saying doesn't make sense. Saudi Arabia is a kingdom and a country. United Kingdom is a kingdom and a country.
Why is it that Saudi Arabia is bombing Yemen? Why is Saudi Arabia bombing Yemen? America is helping Saudi Arabia to bomb Yemen. I don't want to go into that.
That's not relevant.
No, fuck. I'm asking.
Exactly, it's not relevant. But according to
why are you doing that? Why are you
Let's
doing
get
that?
back to
Why
the
are you
topic,
making
please.
a mountain out of an anthill?
Sorry?
Answer that question first.
Sorry?
Or shut up. Answer this question. Why are you making an anthill out of a mountain out of an anthill? Please tell me that.
I didn't hear you.
No,
I didn't hear you.
the
Sorry,
question
brother.
is-
Sorry, I didn't.
Look,
my question is,
when you
why
ask, was there a kingdom, country before the white man? Okay, look, this is just semantic. There were systems of structures that govern several million of people by a rulership with its own unique governance system. That's what, to me, I consider a country, and that's what's relevant to me as a country. Whether you call it a kingdom is irrelevant. There was Abyssinia, there was parts of Sudan, there was Buganda in East Africa, there was the Zulu kingdom, there was Benin, there was in Ghana as well, there was Angola, the Kingdom of Congo. These were sovereign nations that led themselves and had distinctions of boundaries and borders. To me, that's a country. They didn't have a modernized, republic, as what we call it today, like America, and other countries like that, but they did have systems of governance that could control their borders and several millions of people. To me, that is
simple as that. Simple
Sorry?
as that. Simple as that. You're correct.
Yeah. So I'm sure where we lost the point. The point is, Africans, we don't have the IQ to actually do anything. We need to get higher IQ. We need to get higher IQ Africans in positions of power. You see, the issue in Africa is we don't have a competence. Okay, the issue is we don't have a competence-based hierarchy structure. Hierarchy structure is based on tribal affiliations. So if you know someone who knows someone from the tribe and your friends, you will hire that person, regardless whether he's the best person for the job. That's the issue with Africa. We don't have a competence-based hierarchy system. So what you have to do is beat this into them and stop them from hiring their dusty cousins in a job where they're underqualified when some other random person from a dusty tribe is actually better than them.
You have to understand one thing. You have to understand one thing. All the government in Africa is not the government. All the government in Africa was not put by the African people. It was put by people from outside of Africa.
Yeah,
all the government of Africa was not put by the African people. So you cannot even say the African people have the right to control what they are doing right now in the continent because the government over there was not put by them. Madiba Mandela, His Excellency Nelson Mandela went to jail for 27 years for a crime he didn't committed because he was fighting for apartheid to be eliminated. After Steve Biko gave his life, after Robert Mangaliso Sebupo gave his life, after Chris Ami gave his and stuff like that.
I mean, they left him in jail almost.
Steve Biko over Mandela. What are you talking about?
Mandela was a terrorist, guys.
Steve Biko gave his life. Nelson Mandela went to jail for that in order to accomplish, even before he even passed away, Nelson Mandela. He said the struggle continues. He said the struggle continues. True of us.
He was a terrorist. He used to blow up government
Mandela
buildings.
was a terrorist.
No,
yeah.
So what?
Brother.
So what?
George Washington
can you go
was
in
a jail for
terrorist,
27
he
years,
still
bro, for
became
nothing,
president
bro.
of America. So
I
what?
can't
if he's a
believe why
terrorist?
you saying this like this.
You know what? I'm out. I'm gonna go ahead and go, man. This conversation didn't already declined already. I'm going to see myself out. All right, see y'all guys. I'm out.
Dang. Okay, bye.
See you later.
Oh,
Yeah, no,
finally,
guys,
just the
Mandela was in
Africans.
prison.
This is much better now.
Yeah, guys.
Nelson Mandela was a
He
terrorist.
was a terrorist. Yeah, I don't
Brother,
say that.
please.
It's not that I don't agree with him. I agreed with everything.
Well, hold on.
he did, but
Are
he's
you
still
from
a
South
terrorist.
Africa? Are you from South Africa?
No. But he was a
Then
terrorist.
why can you
Facts
say
are the
issues
facts.
like that? What are you talking about? Tell me any history that you know about South Africa.
It's okay.
please.
We're
So
gonna talk.
what
Let
if
me
he
tell you.
calls him a terrorist? Why are
Nelson
you so
Mandela-
upset about it? So what
Bro,
if he calls him a
listen.
terrorist? You can still be the
Nelson
leader of a country and be a terrorist. So who cares?
Exactly. That's the whole point, brother. I'm just saying he was in prison for a legit reason for blowing up government buildings. That's what I didn't say. I didn't agree with it. I agreed with him blowing up government buildings. You know, just because I called him a terrorist. A terrorist is not a bad person. One man's terrorist, another man's freedom fighter. You get what I mean, right? So terrorism, don't be offended by words. He was a terrorist. That's why he was in prison. But he was also a freedom
please
fighter.
give me an example.
That's why he was elected as
Yeah,
the
please
president.
give me 2 examples
Both
that he
things
was
are true.
terrorist, please.
All right, wait.
Yeah, please,
Before-
I beg you.
no,
I want to
wait,
learn.
One second.
Let me
We
educate
have to-
myself.
Wait, no, 1 second. We have to let the panel move forward. Tunisia and Illyri have not said anything. So let's let Illyri go, then Tunisia and any responses. Yeah.
Sure. Greetings, everyone. It's nice to have a panel filled with only Africans. That's good.
In regards to in regards to the IQ thing, yeah, the IQ thing is important, but here's the problem, Kay. Even if you had Africans with high IQ, the power structure would probably kill them off anyway.
Exactly, that's true.
That's a good point.
You should have a long line of them. I keep saying you can't just have one or two. You have to have 1,000 of them distributed all over the continent.
So,
if you take one out, more come show up.
Should we get high IQ Africans to have a breeding line and have get taught on African leadership so that they can just raise them when they get?
But give me an example of Nelson Mandela who is a terrorist, please. Give me an example.
Okay,
please.
cool. So in 1960, I'll tell you. In 1960, Mandela was under the watch list for terrorism because he blew up government buildings. That's why.
Yeah, but wasn't he doing that as a way to protest?
Yeah, but that's you see, a terrorist. Listen, Al-Shabaab are blowing up Somalia because they're protesting against the government, right? They're legit. Listen, terrorism. We have this idea that terrorists are bad people. Terrorists are not bad people.
Yes, they are bad people. Most of them are bad people, actually.
No, tonight.
Listen, there are two types of terrorists. It's not the same thing.
Tanaja, no, what I said is a terrorist is not a good or bad person. It depends on their mission. Okay?
What is your religion, please?
I will let you finish your
what is your religion?
Are you a
Christian or
went to jail?
Am I a Muslim? No, I'm not a dusty Muslim. I don't believe in some dusty Arab god.
I think
what is your religion? Christian?
I don't believe in some dusty European god.
So what's your religion?
I'm Ivorian. I believe in the god
Ivorian?
Any religion.
Ivorian.
I believe in.
You are
I believe in some
Ivorian.
dusty Arabs or or white men. I believe in the black man, the black god, the Christ Messiah called Kaizo, the great
Nelson
god
Mandela
Kaizo.
didn't blow up any building based on terrorism. Okay, you got a bad history. That's a bad history.
On the contract.
Yeah, let me show you this.
Now I don't care that he did do that because I know why he did it, but you know.
Yeah, so it's 1960. The South African police were killing protesters. So as a thing, Nelson Mandela joined a terrorist group that were blowing up government.
What? How come you didn't know that?
He didn't know this. What do you think he got put in prison? He didn't put in prison just because. It's because he was a freedom fighter. What do you think a freedom fighter is? He fights for freedom. Would you think he was just put in prison because he talked too much? Nah, he legit fought the government. The government killed 69 black protesters, right? And this is the last straw that made him go join, a pro-black group, right, in South Africa. And they were retaliating against the government, like a legit war. That's why I respect this guy. This was not some docile African.
Yeah.
This is a legit leader who went out there and did what he had to do. That's why I respect him. He's not some docile guy.
Exactly. You're correct. Was South Africa a black land or a white man? Tell me.
Sorry?
Was South Africa a black land or a white land? Please tell me. Because
Well,
if
it was
you
no,
listen to me. No. Don't explain shit to me. Don't explain shit to me. I know Shaka. I know the history of South Africa. I know Shaka Zulu got that part of the world for almost 90-something years before the so-called British came over. The Boers that had the chicken and stuff like that. How can you be a terrorist in your own land?
Kaiser, I think the problem here is
how can you be a terrorist in your own land, my brother? In your own land,
Mandela a terrorist, and that's not like a good term. You know what I mean?
How can you be a terrorist in your own land?
No, it wasn't his land. It was
you
a
have the
Boer's land.
Khoisan.
It was a white man's
So
land.
you want to tell the Khoisan that had to join Nelson Mandela was a terrorist?
Mandela a terrorist.
The Bantus were colonizers. They came in and they took over the land of the Khoisan.
They were colonized.
Bantus were colonizers. The white men then
Brother,
came and
the
colonized
continent, I'm a Bantu. Remember, I'm a Bantu.
South
The
Africa is not
continent
black
belonged
land.
to
It's
me.
Khoisan land.
Well, who said that?
Khoisan, exactly. So how can you tell me the Khoisan was with Nelson Mandela? How can you say he was a leader of a terrorist group? That they had to join him to fight the apartheid government, and they're still fighting that.
The white government was in power this time. He got charged for treason against the white government. That's just the facts of the situation.
So that is why you referred as he was a terrorist, right? Because he got charged for treason against the white government, right?
I don't hate terrorists. Some terrorists are
He
good.
was a terrorist. The white man was in charge in apartheid. The white man came over there,
Is there a
changed the
different word
law,
that you can
made the
use
law
for
to be in their
terrorist?
favor.
The white man was even a bigger terrorist than him because they terrorized the citizens.
Then don't call him
They're both
terrorist, my
terrorists.
brother. Yeah, don't. No,
But they're
what do
both
you mean they were both terrorists? Please don't call him terrorist. I beg of you.
They were
I
both
beg
terrorists.
you. No, don't do that.
Do you know what a
He was
terrorist
not
is?
a terrorist.
Do you know what a
Why
terrorist
do you
is?
think the black people?
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Do you know what terrorist is? Someone who
Queen,
terrorizes.
go ahead. I cannot say anything anymore. And that's
This
why
terrorist is
sometimes I get
This
angry.
is making people really upset. Like if
These guys need to not to be upset, man. They're little children, man. They need to
Brother,
realize the
you
real
cannot
truth.
call our ancestor a terrorist brother. That is my ancestor right there. You can't call him a terrorist brother. You hurt my feelings for real. Nelson Mandela fought for a black man like myself.
Okay, I
Please,
get it.
beg
But
of
look,
you.
this is the definition of
Don't-
terrorist: a
don't say
person
that,
who
please.
uses unlawful violence, which he did, and intimidation, which he did. Okay, it says especially against civilians, which he did not do. The government did that.
Okay.
In pursuit of
Okay, let
political
me ask you
aims.
this question. Okay, were you born in Africa?
Yeah, I'm
yes,
African.
he was.
I'm in Africa.
Which part in
He
Africa?
is.
Which part in Africa? Please tell me which part. Let
I'm
me
in East
get
Africa.
this.
I am in
Which
Africa. I
part
am
in-
African.
No, which part in East Africa? Tell me, please.
It just is
I'm
part
a
of East
Gambian.
Africa. It doesn't matter.
He's in
Give me
Kenya.
is it Kenya or Kenya from
Sure,
Jomo
let's say
Kenyatta?
Kenya. Let's say Kenya.
just Kenya. Yeah.
Sure.
From Jomo Kenyatta, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus. So Jomo Kenyatta, who had to speak with Julius Nyerere and Yufe Buani from Ivory Coast in the Morovia group in 1963 to oppose against Osage for Kwame Nkrumah. In 1963, that Kwame Nkrumah was fighting for Africa to unite. He told them, my brother, this land we have to unite today, one government, one people, one curriculum, one currency, one power.
It didn't happen.
But because they opposed against him, and Kwame Nkrumah told them at the end that if we don't unite today, this land is going to have a war in such a way that neocolonialism is going to come in, and it's going to be very difficult for us to recognize it because neocolonization is more powerful than colonization. It's exactly what is happening today. You got all kind of white man company over in that continent. You have Exxon, you have Chevron, you have Mobil, you have BP, you have Glencoe. Yeah, you have all these British petroleum and stuff like that.
Yes,
Exactly.
because
Yeah.
low IQ, stupid African leaders have allowed them to come in.
Exactly.
That's what.
Yeah, that's why they've been asked to come in the country. Why is it that Coca-Cola
So
is
he
all
called
over
Nelson
Africa?
Mandela a terrorist. So what is?
We're past the terrorist thing.
There's nothing wrong with terrorism, bro. Listen, terrorism is okay.
Give respect.
If that's your listen. You know the Black Panthers, they were called terrorists. You know why? Because they fought against the dusty American police.
No, you
Okay?
as a black man don't supposed to use that name. Please don't do that. I beg you.
Look. I believe in facts. Okay, I don't need to reclassify things. Facts are facts. He fought against.
So
the government.
Mandela was a terrorist.
Okay, we're
Yeah,
not
there's nothing
going
wrong with
to
that.
the Mandela thing
Okay,
right
okay,
now.
okay.
We're not going there right now.
Don't be
But I
offended
want
by
to touch
Tunaja.
upon what.
Do you think? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I want to touch upon, I guess, what Tunaja and Daniel versus Illyri and Kaizo is saying. So I want to go back to what Daniel was saying. Illyri said it's because of the low IQ of African governments that let these people come and create these companies and businesses. But then Daniel is saying, no, it has nothing to do with that. They used force. So that's what I hear with a lot of Pan-Africans. It's like, it's the white man, But then we have other Africans that are like, no, we're complacent
Let me give
in
you
doing
a
this.
simple example.
So,
Ghana.
yeah, what do you guys think?
Ghana has a they're manufacturing their own car. The people went to the Ghanaian government and asked for some loans in order to do it. Do you know what they did? They didn't give it to them. You know what they did? They signed a deal with external companies to bring in cars. The problem with African leaders is they don't care about actual development of the country. If you go to Japan, it's different. When a Japanese man had an idea to build a semiconducting shop, or in South Korea, they get funded and then they get supported and the government puts all their money in it. Of course, there has to be equal competition so that there's quality. However, in Africa, what happens is, if you notice, every country in Africa has Coca-Cola, Fanta. Coke has, what's that word? Monopolized the whole beverage industry. Do you think Africans can't make a nice tasting carbonated beverage and then,
We do.
promote it in their TVs. And then if the leaders wanted to, they could. The problem is the leaders don't want to or care. They would like the kickback that they get, because if you notice, it's just Coca-Cola companies really when they have the beverage. There isn't even Miranda that much in many countries, right? Which is still Pepsi, whatever it is, still another big European, conglomerate. The issue is the leaders are not signing policies that are in line with their people. Ethiopia is one country that's trying to do it, and I do believe it's going to work, because if you look at Ethiopia, for example, the telecommunications is owned by the government. Most things are owned by the government. Now they're opening up to private investment, but they're still prioritizing African investors. Right now, they've just opened up and gave Safaricom, it's a majority Kenyan company with some South African shareholders and also UK shareholders from Vodafone, but it's a majority Kenyan company. They've given them the rights to basically get a banking license in the country. That's how African leadership should be. It should be something that you think about the effects of the future generations when you're allowing businesses to come in, not allowing monopolies from the Western regions. That's not because they're forced. That's because they chose to. African leaders are dusty.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Have you ever heard of the word regime change? I keep on repeating on that. Regime change. You know what regime? You don't know what regime change is, right? That is why. That's now.
Regime change. Did you say?
Yeah, regime change.
Yes,
yeah, regime change. You know what regime change is, right? Which means the slave and colonial master doesn't have anything to do with the masses of the population, the mass of the population. What he does is the leadership in which was put in power by the population, he just come in, get him out militarily. Most of the time it's military. Get him out, just like Mamadou Doumbouya of Guinea-Conakry, that he got married to a white woman over there. Get him out, then guess what? They will control the mass of the population based on the leader. Then the corporation of the slave and colonial master will get in and suck the wealth out of that land. In order for them to protect that slave and colonial master, what is going to happen is the IMF and the World Bank will grant loan to those that they put in power. Then the loan they grant, they'll get. Hold on, my brother. I'm extending to because I'm a historian. I'm putting my life for real. Listen. You will say this, my brother spoke the real truth for real. I'm putting my life for real on the line to let you understand what has happened in that continent. Listen. So what happened is they will get rid of the real leaders that the people put in power. Then they put their own puppet in power. Then from there, they will make sure they will grant loan to that puppet in power. That loan, the puppet will go in the street and hire a lot of dudes who want to become military. How do you think it is possible to exploit a land that is the most richest land on earth? There are two ways you have to do it. If you want to exploit Africa, which is the most richest and big continent on earth, there are two ways you have to do it. Through ignorance, through ignorance, and through what? Through exploitation. When you are ignorant, you cannot fight back because the political power is going to use your ignorance against you to exploit you.
Yeah.
So what happened?
That's what we already said. We already said
this.
this.
Let me conclude.
We already said this. You're just repeating what was already said. Low IQ, stupid people are put in power. You've just said it.
No, they are not stupid people. They were trained by the white man to do that. I myself, I even told my friend.
So you think it's the white man's fault again?
Yeah, because listen to me. It's the white man because everything. Am I speaking my language to you? Can you understand my language?
I can understand you, yeah.
Exactly. You cannot understand my language because it is based on Berlin Conference, colonization, that we were colonized and you have to speak and understand. Hold on, my brother. Let me land, brother. Please,
man,
speak.
Can we stop
this
stupid shit? Can somebody just
It's okay, let him finish.
Let me finish, brother, please. I want you to get something from what I'm trying to say. Please, if you colonize me, I speak your language. It means indirectly I will understand you that I speak your language. I will not understand myself. And if I don't understand myself, I understand you, I'll do exactly what you want me to do. Especially if you put me in power, that I understand your language. You know what is going to happen? You will tell me exactly what to do, especially if it is in my advantage. I'll do it against the advantage of the people. The people are dying of lack of knowledge of self. The people are dying based on lack of knowledge of their historical concept. Thereby, the slave and colonial master had to exploit that to a means whereby you have Glencoe, you have BP, you have Texaco, you have Chevron, you have Exxon, you have all these multinational companies in the continent that are exploiting the resources with the speed of light without the people over there, their knowledge for real.
Okay, thank you. We're getting to 3 hours, so I kind of want to move it. So we can let Dustin go ahead, and then we can have Lozy respond.
Oh, thank you, Africa Millennial. Thank you for letting me in, man. Hello, everybody to the panel. Hello, everybody. Yeah. Somebody said Mandela was a can everybody hear me?
Yeah.
We've moved on from the terrorist thing.
Yeah, but we just
man. Please never say that. You know what I mean? Never say Mandela was a terrorist. Mandela was. Yeah, Mandela was fighting the world, man. It wasn't an easy battle, you know. You know what I mean? It was not. That's why Mandela, Jacob Zuma, Robert Mugabe, all these people, yeah, it was hard. They were literally on a death list. England didn't support them. America didn't support them. None of the West countries support these people. So they have to be militant. You know what I mean? They have to be, man. There was no way. There was no option. You know what I mean? Yeah. So Mandela,
Sorry,
don't say Mandela was
how can you? Sorry, how can you put Jacob Zuma and Robert Mugabe in the same?
No, can I just finish my points, please? Can I just finish? Can I just? Robert Mugabe was one of the original ANC members. That's why when all this sanction was happening, he kicked the white people out. Mandela never said a word because he knew what Robert Mugabe did for him. No. He knew what he did for him. So don't disrespect Mandela that it was a whatever, yeah. And anyway, let me just move on to the topic, right? Everyone's talking about Africa with this, with that. We need to move on. You know what we need to do, yeah? Because we're not in control of anything at the minute. You know what I mean? We're not in control. Look at Congo. Congo got everything. There's people there poor as hell. Nigeria, I watched a documentary the other day, man. There's like a floating slum in Lagos. People are just there. I'm thinking myself, this can happen in Nigeria, man. What we need to do here as Black people, yeah, especially us in the diaspora, right? We need to go back home and change the mindset of our people. Our people are to colonize. This tribal thing is in their mind, so they cannot move forward. Us in the diaspora, we're the ones that are going to make that change. Pan-Africanism is the way forward to liberate ourselves from these like colonizers. Because we're not winning. Are we winning, guys? We're not winning, man. We're still struggling. We're still poor. We're still behind. You know, we're talking. People are just taking all the benefits of Africa every single day. So what are we doing, guys? What are we doing? That's my question, man. It's us here. We need to go and educate our people. You understand? That's my contribution, guys.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
How does Pan-Africanism solve any problem? Give me one problem that Pan-Africanism.
Hello, everyone. Hello.
I'll give you an example. Yeah.
Hello.
Our people back home.
Hello,
our people back home.
Hello. Can I speak, guys?
Hello.
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 Let me just finish. Ask me a
Hello.
question.
Hello. I'm sorry. I've got to run. I've got to go and start this thing out there. So I've got to run.
Yeah, Tanaja's gonna be going live.
Tanaja, man, where you going, man? We need you as well, man. You're always talking, man, but you're not doing anything. You know what I mean? Why is Nigeria people living in a floating slum? Why is that?
Tanaja, let's go to your show.
Yeah,
Tonight, stay, please.
I'm supposed to be on time. I'm supposed to. Yeah, I just got to the time. He just got to the time. I can't stay. Sorry. Yeah, I have to be on time. I don't want to do Nigerian time.
Yeah, let's let Lozy go. Yeah.
African millennial. How are you?
We need it. We need the diaspora. We need the Black Americans.
How are you, African
we need the Black British, Black Caribbean, because we're not winning.
Hello.
So how long are we gonna pretend as if you're gonna win?
Yeah,
we're not winning, man. Come on, guys.
One second.
Exactly. Yes.
Can I respond, bro? Like Dustin, can you just give me a space to respond, bro?
Of course, man.
African millennial. I'm very disappointed in your channel, bro. Like I really follow your channel and I love it. I learn a lot on your channel, you know. we at some point we need to draw a line. You know, I understand you get trolls on your channel and you want to give everybody a chance to speak. You know, as African people, I know sometimes it get heated. We've got our differences every now and then, you know, but we need to respect each other as African people. I'm disappointed in what was said here regarding my own ancestor, our leader, like Mandela. You know, we can troll. You know, there's a thin line. I've accepted that certain individuals are trolls, but I think we need to respect each other.
Are you calling me a
when
troll?
we're still trolling, in a sense that we can never thin line.
I'm
We
not
can
troll.
have boundaries. You know,
my opinion, yeah.
we need to help to draw boundaries at some point where we don't just come here and now go beyond trolling, you know, where you just being stupid now. You know, we need to just be careful of what we say, because some things are just nasty. You know, we shouldn't be talking about other black people in that sense. We cannot be calling people like Mandela terrorists. You know, you can do that, but it's an easy way out. You know, it's a cheap way. It's very easy. You know, it's like, as a man, you need to sit down yourself alone and reflect and ask yourself, is this really worth it? It's a very cheap way. It's easy. Anybody can do that. You know, so we need to respect each other as Africans. You know, we don't have to troll all the time. It's not necessary. You know, I've accepted certain people are trolls, but we don't have to overdo it. You know. That's my take.
What? 7 years?
Wait, hang on. The reason why he was called a terrorist is because the brother was saying he was put in prison for 20-something years. It wasn't like he was put there for nothing. He did literally commit a crime against the government. The government doesn't mean it's good. That's how we got to listen, guys. We have to remove this idea that the government is good inherently. The government was an evil dictatorship that was against black people. That's a fact. But he was also a terrorist according to the
regulations. Pick your own battles careful. You know, it's like you're trying to explain something that it's nonsense. You're not making sense. Whatever Mandela did, you don't have a right to call the man a terrorist. That's like a stupid word to use for a leader like Mandela.
Mandela, come on,
you
bro.
don't call people like Mandela terrorists. You don't have a right to do that. I know you can troll, my guy. You can troll but have a self-respect. Have some self-awareness as a person. You know, you don't have to troll all the time. And African millennials, I'm honestly disappointed that you allow individuals like this sometimes. You know, like, I respect your channel. I learn a lot. Sometimes I disagree with people, yes. But I've learned a lot just by following your channel. I've learned a lot from individuals who come here, our African brothers and sisters. So let's just respect each other. I don't have a right to call any Kenyan leader by names like this, or any African leader for whatsoever. They've done their part. They've gone. Let's respect each other. You know, that's all.
Can I say something, African man? Yeah, I understand what you're saying, boss. Yeah, like maybe he's a bit young. He doesn't understand the struggle. Yeah, every black person that's tried to rise up against these people, yeah, have been killed. Like, if you look at America, for example, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King. You know what I mean? There was people within us, within our community, yeah, that was snitching. You know what I mean? Snitch, yeah. That's why Mandela never got involved in the Zimbabwe problem. They would say, "Oh, you need to solve Robert Mugabe. Like, don't kick the white people out." Man, I live in England, man. I was watching all of that, man. England never supported ANC. No, they were against the ANC.
Brother, do you know? Brother, do you know Mugabe was? Brother, do you know Mugabe was put in power under the influence of Osagyefo Kwame Nkrumah? Do you know that? That this is factual. I can give you the link. You can see it right now. Mugabe was put in power under the influence of Osagyefo Kwame Nkrumah. Listen. Let me land. Let me just finish. Let me finish your talk. I myself from so-called Cameroon, brother. Please, I beg of you. I took South Africa in university as a course in order for me to get my master's degree. I took it for real. I studied that land to the core until I cried. Please. No one should call Mandela. You don't have. No one has the right to do that. If you don't have knowledge of a specific state in that continent, just be quiet. Unless you can prove your case. Yeah, just be quiet. Unless you can prove. So we have to speak.
I don't think there's a point in arguing about this.
No, I won't argue. I'm going to set up
I beg of you, because it hurt my. You got my soul. It hurt my soul.
Don't worry. I'm making a stream on
I'm
my
a black
channel.
man. I'm suffering.
Nelson
Please.
Mandela, I'm a terrorist. doing that right now.
What did you say?
Kaizo, please don't do that. Please don't.
I have to.
He was not a terrorist, you fucking fool.
Okay, now I'm
How old are you? How old are you? What's your age?
He's under 30. He's under 30. He's under 30.
He's young. He doesn't understand how, man. He's young, man. That man sacrificed his life for his country. He sacrificed everything.
Mandela received the Order of St. John from the Queen, which was kind of strange. He came all the way to England and he was given the Order of St. John. He was knighted, almost knighted by the Queen. I thought that was weird. Why would he accept that? Why would he accept that?
Guys, you can say a lot of things about Mandela, but you don't have to use a talking point of a white man labels like terrorists. They're the only ones who are calling Mandela terrorist. It's really sad when a black man call a leader like Mandela a terrorist. The man was not perfect, just like many African leaders. But Kaizo, you are I believe you are black, my brother. There's a time to troll. You can call Mandela whatever you like, but calling him a terrorist, it's really, I'm a black South African brother. It pains me. I won't lie to you. I'll never call your leaders' names, and I've never discussed Kenyan issues to this level where I disrespect your people. I will never meet you. I know. This is an online thing. I mustn't take it that personal. But on your own, as an individual, just learn to respect other people. That will take you far. Just
Wait a second before anyone responds. Like, guys, I apologize for this. I don't. Okay. These are people's opinions. It's just a discussion. Okay, I'm not. Yeah, I just apologize because that would hurt my feelings too if somebody said that about one of my leaders.
Yeah, but don't apologize. This is all on me. This is my fault. And please, African American, don't do that. Don't apologize.
No, I have to because there's people. Anyways. Yeah, go ahead.
This is all to do with me and my beliefs. Yeah, it has nothing to do with you. You're a good person, to be honest. Thank you for having me. And no shit, but I'm not apologizing. I'm not a simp. I don't apologize to South Africans.
Kaizo, I'll never want an Kaizo, guys, I need to respond. Kaizo, I'll never want an apology from you. I don't want that. I just want you to know when to troll. You don't have to troll all the time. You get my point? You are a man. Just have some principles. Like, make sense, grow up. You don't have, trolling is easy. Anyone can do it. It's cheap, my brother.
Learn the history.
So you don't have to do it all the time.
Brother,
you don't have to do it all the time.
Brother, you from South Africa, my brother from South Africa. We don't think the same, my brother. Yeah, we don't think the same. I beg of you. If he said, please forgive me, please. We got to train him, teach him, for him to understand.
No, I don't have time for that. I don't have time for that.
Which means, you know what we have? I will tell you right now, you know what we have? 1776, as America got it over here, we kill one another because I'm ready for that, for a black man to kill another black man, for that continent to be free. Yes, so please, we have to make sure we educate a little somehow. Because please, we need the black woman is going out of control. I love the black woman.
Yeah, got it.
Like my sister, my black sister. I saw her picture.
Your black sister.
Who? Who's your black sister?
You are a beautiful sister. I saw her. I'm like, dang, I can bring her in my house right now in Texas. I'm like, dang.
Excuse me? Bring me to your house. Where's this conversation going? From Nelson Mandela to bringing a woman to your house? What was going on?
No, don't, please, I beg of you, don't take it out. Please, I beg of you. We are talking something different. Don't take it out, okay?
Yeah,
I just say in South Africa. We all are African, my brother. Don't feel like, if I want to get her, if she's married, she's going to say, well, I'm married. Please, don't use relationship.
He came to
Just
came to apartheid.
Okay, let's get back. Let's get back on track. By the way, Tunija is live. If anyone wants to watch Tunija's channel,
there'll just be 2 people watching.
No.
Artifact of War is going live soon. Kaizoria is live and he's gonna go live soon. Josie Gold, I think I know what he called in about. Oh man, go ahead.
Sister, let's conclude.
Yeah, can I
Let's
just
take the South African talk.
Yes, let's finish the real truth.
Look,
please.
Look, like what Lozi was saying, like
Yes,
it's really cheap
can I say
calling
something?
Mandela a terrorist. Can I just talk? You've been talking. All right. Look, it's unfortunate that someone like Nelson Mandela would be called a terrorist. It's very cheap. Sure, other people consider them a terrorist. They get it from that point of view. So, but he just wasn't a terrorist. Calling him a terrorist, it's just not a good thing. It's really, really bad taste. And it's unfortunate. That's all I wanted to say.
Question for you. Yeah, question for you. Do you think that African countries should invest into Bitcoin? And what do you think some African countries should do about the gold? Because gold is being extracted and they're not really making any money from it. What do you think needs to happen in regards to that?
Bitcoin is rubbish. So I'd never encourage anybody to invest in Bitcoin. So for me, I'd rather you hold that gold because it's actually valuable. So even you might argue that some countries don't make a lot of money from it, but it's still more valuable than Bitcoin. So I would say to hell with Bitcoin and hold on to your gold and try to buy as much of that as you can or mine as much as you can. And many people are doing it, although illegally, but yeah.
Wait,
I still buy gold.
by the way, for clarification, by Bitcoin you mean all cryptocurrency, not just Bitcoin, right? So even if it's a new
Yes.
coin that comes out, who cares, right?
Yep,
Exactly.
that's what I'm saying.
Got it.
You know, can I say something? You know, like all this Bitcoin, I've never invested in it because I don't really understand it, to be honest. I believe in like live cash, gold or diamond and all of that stuff. But like anyway, going back to like Africa, our resources, we're going to control, everybody's controlling all that stuff. You know what I mean? And when are we going to like say to all these people, look, we want to come back and dictate.
I'm not able to hear you. I'm not sure why.
Oh, sorry. I was saying, as Africans, as us here, when are we going to go back to the continent and dictate what our resources are spread it out? Because we're not in control, are we, guys? We're not in control. Everybody else is controlling all the stuff.
Danson, I'll stop trolling for a second. Let me ask you a question. Do you think any discussion that's being had on this platform has any significant political or strategic pulling compared to what these multinational corporations do? They come together, they have board of director meetings, they don't fight, and they agree on principles of power on how to move forward. Do you think that Pan-Africans on dusty panels like this can ever get to that level? I don't.
You know what, yeah, Prof, yeah, I think it would. I think it would, yeah. People like you, yeah, like wise minds, that's what it takes, yeah, coming together and create a plan and going out there. That's but don't underestimate yourself, yeah. We can do it, man. We can do it.
But Dunstan, I tried that. You know, to Congo? I tried to move to Africa so I can help the people, but you know what they did? They tried to put me in prison. They put a fake court case against me saying that I'm a thief. So how can I love my people when this is what they do to me when I try to help them?
What the local people?
Yeah,
the local people trying to do that.
Yeah,
see, that's what I'm saying. That's, you know what you just said it, yeah. It's all the tribal thing. Tribal. How do we go past the tribal thing? How do we do that? We need people from the diaspora, man. Canada, America, England. We need to go.
Well, you don't think that they're tribal as well? They're tribal as well. So you keep on talking about the diaspora like it's not tribal. Black Americans are tribal. They only care about Black Americans. English-speaking Caribbean people, Jamaicans, only care about themselves and don't really care about Africans. So you keep on talking about the diaspora. So the diaspora is this perfect thing. The diaspora just is guilty as well. They're tribalist as well.
Yeah, I understand that, but what
Tribalism
do we
is
just get
international.
together and then show like a full sheet with money and go and take over these places, man? We need to go over the arguments and the drama thing. We need to come together, man. We need to, man. The Chinese are taking over everything, and the Indians. You know what I'm saying, man? So what we're gonna do? We're gonna like just complaining all the time. You know what I mean? We need to do something, bro, man. I've got a project going right now, yeah. I'm building a few houses, and then I'm just linked up with my mate. Pan-Africanism strikes back in Kenya. I've invested a bit of money there. We've got a few land. People are coming in, but we need to get together, man. I mean, African Milano, yeah, you Ghanaian, yeah, right? Like sometimes, yeah, like the way you talk here is like you're against.
Yeah, my
Can I
brother,
just finish it? Like sometimes you are against Pan-Africanism, you know what I mean? And your country is like the leading, you know what I mean, to move forward. And so sometimes I don't understand you, your narrative, you know what I mean, yeah? So
Because
like, just
your
let me know where you
narrative is
stand.
very,
Do you
very
want
generic,
Pan-Africanism?
very generic. You keep on saying we need to unite. What needs to happen within Africa is each of those African countries has to achieve success first, independently, before they can unite. This automatic,
Thank you,
let's
my
all
brother.
just
Thank you. Yeah,
unite,
yeah, yeah. That's a beautiful
will
question.
never happen.
No. It will happen. It happen, my brother.
But
Please.
they first have to be
No,
successful
brother. Please.
independently.
You asked a beautiful question. Let me answer it, please, brother. Can I answer it? Please.
That was a question. Okay.
Yeah. Let me answer him. I know someone's gonna say, brother. Let me answer this, please. Brother, I beg of you, I beg. The white man, the so-called white. Listen, brother, please. Don't say any shit. Let me just conclude. Then you can interject. Okay, please, I beg of you. Listen, everything the white man got, they got it through gun and bullets. These people got everything from 1914. From I can go backward and backward, more than 1,000 or 2,000 years ago. But I don't want to get into that issue right now. What I can say is they got it through gun and bullet, through killing and destruction, my bro. So which means this is not F. This is not F. This is jungle. They themselves that have been saying it. It is survival for the fittest. The strong eat the weak. You know what Marcus Garvey said in 1920? His Excellency, the Right Honorable, the first provisional African president, the Right Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey. You know what he said? He said, you as a black man, if you cannot do what other nations have done, if you cannot do what other men have done, if you can't do what other race have done, then you deserve to die. Marcus Garvey said what? He said the greatest weapon used against African people all over the world is disorganizement. This sister right here is trying to organize us. We got to organize. If it happens, we have to put our currency. If it happens that I have to put even $10,000, $5,000, stuff like that, for us to come with an institution whereby we have to raise the young to make sure they have that technological mindset, because technology, that's what Marcus Garvey said, it is for religion and technology that is going to free us African people. The white man is not defeating us, or other race of people is not enslaving us because they have the power to do it. No, it's because of their technological might. Brother, I told you this guy, you from the beginning. You want cell phone, you manufacture it. You want television, you manufacture it. You want internet, you manufacture it. You want YouTube, you manufacture it. You want warship, warplane, you want nukes and whatsoever. You want military, you have to manufacture it, my brother. We got that resources in the continent. Why can't we men dig down on earth and grab that knowledge in which the white man did in order to make him powerful all over the world? The black woman, some of them now, they are looking to us as we are a clown, as a fool for real. The black woman is going out of control for real. Trust me. We got to do better in order to build that continent. We have the resources. Why is it that you have the resources, you can only use that resources to develop it? The white man killed those people that Marcus Garvey trained. Now we are the next generation. We have to fight. If I die, I want to say this to you. If I die, right, I will die as a smart dude for it. Because I'm fighting for that continent to have a technological knowledge to develop. Simple as that.
But you know what, yeah? Just a quick answer. You know, our problem in Africa, we've got too many sellouts as well, bro. We've got too many sellouts, man.
I told you we don't have
ourselves.
We don't have government in Africa. I told you that so long ago. We don't have government in Africa. I can literally I can literally give you the historical concept of it. If you want my sister over there, I can send her the link. She's going to send it to you. I can give you step by step. America and this so-called white man that they are devils. They are devils.
Okay. All right. So
don't feel like the white man is a devil. Simple as that. And they are doing it for their interest. They are correct. I cannot blame them. They are correct.
One second.
If we black men can, my sister,
African community, man, it's speaking facts, mate. It's a fight. It's a difficult
I
fight.
give it straight as it is. I don't give it. Damn.
Sorry, what were you going to say, African millennial? You were about to say something.
Yeah, I was about to say thank you. Yeah, so I was about to say that we can actually start doing the closing statements. So we can go from the top to the bottom. So Daniel, did you have a closing thought for the panel? A final statement.
Okay. Very soon I'll go to work. I'm working the plantation. I'm trying to get my own business right now. So what I would say is, brother, sister, brother, sister, what we need to do is to come together. First, one of the things I understand is, why do I have to speak like this? Because I have knowledge of self, my brother. I don't care if anybody kill me, especially if I'm dying for that continent. I don't care. For a black woman, I don't care about that. What we need to do is, we got to make sure we got our technological aspect intact. Brother, I'm learning how to manufacture cell phone right now. Please try to find a means to study something like how internet is being manufactured, or like how gun or bullet. I hate to say shit like this. Put yourself in technological aspect that's going to help us in the continent, so we can come together. Okay, in African Millennium Channel, we can say, well, we'll meet in Johannesburg. On 2 weeks, we all meet over there. As simple as that. As simple as that. Yeah. So we can go in, we prove ourselves, say this is what we're supposed to need, and I can prove it, so that let all of us prove it. And we've raised the consciousness of others, because you cannot tell me we have the resources and they take it from us, then they have to take it from us and oppress us. I can't believe this. The black woman, like you, African millennium, we love us for a black man, despite the fact some of us are fools and disgrace.
You said it, not me.
Yeah, I'm done.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, so we can have Dustin go next. Thanks for calling in.
Yeah, I haven't got a lot to say. I'm just going to agree with what my brother just said. 100% consciousness. That's the main thing. Our people back there, conscious, man. Like we over here, that's what we need to do. Make them be aware of what they're entitled to, their rights, all of that, man. That's basically, I agree with my brother, man. He just said everything I was thinking in my head, man. We need to get a message across, get it over on unity, man. And we can win, man. We have to win, man. We can't just let the Chinese, Lebanese, Syrian, my country, Syrian, man. We don't control nothing, man. It's like foreigners everywhere, you know what I mean? And we need to get together, man. Yeah, but thank you guys for letting me on here. And bro, I love you, man. We're gonna link up here, brother. Bless.
Right, no problem. Yeah, you guys can exchange each other's emails and contacts in the private chat if you would like. And last but not least, Leary, what did you have to say?
Thank you. I'm just one man. I'm not Moses. I'm not hoping to lead black people to the promised land. It's never going to happen in my lifetime. I'm not doing that. What I will say is this. I think it's important, if people are going to have a conversation about Africa, they need to have a good, thorough understanding about the foreign policies used in each African country. They need to understand the financial policies. What is being done with the IMF? What's being done with the CFA franc? What are the foreign policies that pushing trade? Because trade influences politics in a country. Why are the Chinese there? Then you need to understand the policies that your government has implemented. And finally, this thing about just blaming the white man for every single problem has to stop, because the white man does bad things, but they're actually sometimes when the white man isn't actually responsible, is the black man or the black woman doing stuff. So Pan-Africanism, it needs to be, basically we need to hold our own people to account when they do bad things. If we just keep on blaming someone else, we'll never really solve the problem, because we're just blaming the white man all the time. The white man sometimes is not actually involved. So that's all I have to say anyway. Take care. Thanks for letting me on. Have a good night.
Yeah, you as well. So yeah, in regards to blaming the white man, I blame both. I blame the white man and us, because we're still allowing these things to happen. As mentioned before, in the beginning of the stream, the original topic was about gold. It was about resources. It was about how come there are nations that have a lot of resources and they're not really getting any money from it. And then I briefly talked about how in the case of Ghana signed a deal with Britain that said, hey, you can basically steal our gold and we're cool with it. And I was just asking, like, isn't that problematic? Isn't that something that needs to change? Because in the beginning of the video, if you weren't here, I'll upload some timestamps. But in the beginning of the video, I was actually playing a video in which you guys saw UK. UK has a whole bunch of gold reserves. They have a whole bunch of minerals. They have a whole bunch of things that they're storing right now, and they're waiting for the value to go up. And the gold comes from other countries, and those countries are literally not even thinking about anything on how to cultivate those resources. So in any case, I think it was a great conversation. Okay, guys, I again, I did not mean for the whole Mandela thing to happen. Like, I don't know. I didn't think that comment was gonna stay that long. I thought it was a comment that was gonna be made and we would move on from it, but we didn't. In any case, the person who made that comment does not, he wasn't trolling and he doesn't want to apologize. So that's his opinion. And I know I'm kind of being biased, but that person is my personal, like, I know that person in real life. So I couldn't really say anything about it. But yeah, what do you guys think? What do you guys think is the way forward? What do you guys think some of these countries need to do? And in the case of Pan-Africanism, I do believe in Pan-Africanism. I know that this is not technically a Pan-African only space or a Pan-African only channel. So that's why there's different opinions that are welcomed. I do believe in Pan-Africanism, but I don't believe in the commercialized way of Pan-Africanism, if that makes sense. Like, I don't believe in Garveyism, because that's a completely different aspect. I believe in a different type of Pan-Africanism, and I don't know. I think I'll talk about that more a bit later. But in any case, it was nice seeing you guys. I will see you guys next week and hope that you guys have a wonderful day. It was nice to see a lot of you guys, some of your faces. I haven't seen y'all in a long time. But yeah, great discussion. And if anybody is still up, Tunija is live if you want to watch his stream. Kaizoria is going live if you want to watch his stream. Afriscope TV is live if you want to watch his stream. So there are a couple people that are live right now in case you guys still want to listen. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.